Hello, everybody, to Talking Nerds. My name is Nate, aka Biggy, aka Pro Twitch Streamer. Actually, I feel really bad because also Nick and Zach, Nick's not here tonight, but Zach and Tyler are here tonight,
What's up?
aka The Flash and Martian Manhunter, aka Bluey. If you watched our lame Elden Ring stream the other
Hey,
night,
we did not do so good, but it was fun.
I don't know if you
Was
watched.
that your first time playing, Tyler?
No, that's
Oh,
what was
No.
so bad about it.
oh no.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched more of the stream after that, but oop. Sorry, I'm just spilling stuff right now. I just like went back because I hadn't played Elden Ring in a couple months, so I just went back and started playing my own, and I was sucking so badly, and so the stream just ended with me going, "Well, uh, this is why I stopped playing Elden Ring," and then I just stopped the stream. I was like, I'm done. So
Have you had any
Yes.
interactions yet from like not
one of our friends did, yeah, but that's about it. Not on the or no, actually on the Hogwarts stream, we did have some rando on there, but he was just on the wrong stream. So
Oh,
he
that's
called me he
unfortunate.
called me the Nerd King though, so that was nice.
Hey, there you go.
But before we get started, I'm drinking a Pollyanna Brewing, which is a local brewery, which is really good. This one's called In the Cards. It's a hazy IPA. Never had it before, so I'm super excited to try it. What are you guys drinking?
The good old Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper? Yep.
So I got two.
Ooh.
I got a nice little Coors.
Of course,
Nice.
like come on.
I know,
Tyler.
but listen. This is still remnants from what Biggie brought over.
Yeah, right.
And it's actually expired, but I'm still gonna drink it because I gotta get rid of it. And then I'm backing it up with a non-alcoholic polar
Seltzer.
black cherry seltzer, which actually I'm not a big seltzer guy like LaCroix or bubbly,
Oh.
but this is actually pretty good.
Hmm.
It's got a lot of flavor. And they're actually pretty good cold, but this
Nice.
is what I'm starting off with.
Very good. I like it. But yeah, so we have been streaming on Twitch. I did play Hogwarts last Saturday and beat the main story. And so I still have, and I also beat Sebastian's storyline. If you know, you know. But honestly, I guess we'll just kind of get right into our weeks here. So I'll just start. So I've been playing a lot of Hogwarts, obviously. I gotta say, the story is still very mediocre and was kind of boring there at the end. There's two main villains. I killed them, and I think they maybe showed up 3 times the entire game. I knew nothing about them at all, other than that they were trying to get this magic power, which that was kind of the main part of the story. But there was no backstory to these villains. You just killed them and it was over. So Sebastian's story was kind of way more fleshed out than any other ones. More fleshed out than it needed to be, honestly. um, but I mean, yeah, I still really enjoy the game. I think now that I'm like almost done, I still have a bunch of side quests I got to finish up, some world exploring. I'm gonna re-rate it to probably a 8 out of 10. I think I originally gave it a 9 out of 10. It's probably an 8 out of 10. It's still really good, but it gets old pretty quickly, I think. Once you get like to that like 20-hour mark and you like get all the spells and everything, you've pretty much explored all you really explore. It's just kind of doing some more stuff within that realm. It's not very interesting after a while. So, it was a good game. I really like it was really cool if you're, a big Harry Potter fan. But I think it was just it was a good, okay game, So
Mhm.
I'm ready to be done, essentially. So Tyler and I will be starting Diablo Immortal here. I think Tyler's actually already been playing it, but we're gonna
After
get
this episode, I believe we're gonna be playing live. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we're gonna get ready for Diablo 4. I didn't get to do the beta last weekend, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to this weekend either. So that was kind of lame, but so far, I've heard good things. I think pretty good things about it. I'm optimistic about it. It comes out June 6th. I think I get it like 4 days early. So June we'll be playing it, but for the next couple months we'll be playing Immortal, and we'll also jumping into New World too. So be on the lookout for those. I'm probably
And
gonna be done with my Hogwarts streams just because I kind of did the main stuff. So just gonna finish up
and
on
maybe
my own.
sprinkle in some Elden Ring, you know.
Yeah,
We'll,
here
we'll
and there.
flesh it out off stream and then hop back on when we're feeling confident.
That's right. I did start a new build with Tyler, and I was like, oh my gosh, I miss being strong.
Maybe,
So,
yeah, that's probably what it was. We also both started brand new characters.
Right.
And it wasn't that big of an impact for me, but for you, it was probably a big change.
it was a big shock again for
Would
me.
you switch from like a warrior to a mage or something?
No,
You didn't
I
switch.
I stayed with my same build, but like I'm a level 245 and I'm going back to a level 10, you know. So I'm just weak
Oh.
again. So I have no like, you know, it's a starting weapon. So
Yeah. Got it.
but yeah. So super excited to start playing Diablo. I also have been watching more Attack on Titan. It's really good. It's great. It's hype. It's a little dramatic at times, but that's anime for you. So I'm super excited. I'm trying to catch up. Final season part 1 did come out. So I'm trying to get there. And then I also have been watching Terminal List, actually. Chris Pratt's
Love
Terminal
that
List.
show.
I'm almost done with it. Gracie and I have been watching it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's very John Wicky, which
Do you
I'm
know who the
super
bad
excited
guy
to see
is
that.
yet?
Yes, it's the Admiral, right? Kind of. I think I have like.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
not gonna spoil it, but there's like a hidden bad guy that I called towards the end of
Oh,
the show
okay.
where I was like, oh, that's totally a guy who's gonna end up being on the list, isn't
No, is it his best friend? Dang it, it's his best friend.
No spoilers.
No, I liked him.
he?
That sucks.
But see, you knew now that I've said something, you're like, oh yeah, that totally clicks.
I mean-
everything clicks into place.
Yeah, it does. Dang it.
Yep.
That's too bad. But it's really good. It's like
It is fantastic.
every time
Dude,
like
when he
somebody
goes to
dies.
Mexico,
Oh, I know.
the
Like he
Mexico
takes the guy's
episode.
intestines
my
and hangs them up. Tyler, have you
God.
seen it?
No.
Oh,
Oh
man,
my
dude, you gotta watch
gosh.
it. It's so good.
Woo.
That last death, the douchebag guy.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that was like so quick, and I was like, holy crap, that just happened.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's really good. I don't want to say any more because I will spoil it, but great show.
Yep.
So almost done with that. I've also been, cruising along through the Harry Potter audiobooks. So I'm in Goblet of Fire now.
Did you finish Dungeon Crawler, Carl?
No, I just took a break from it because I'm on a Harry Potter hook right now.
No,
So
you're good. Yeah.
a Potter pal hook.
It's crazy how that happens, dude.
Yeah.
I
It's
know.
like with Hogwarts Legacy, it came out, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know
I like Harry Potter.
what? I love Harry Potter. I'm actually gonna re-listen to the books again.
I
And you
know.
know what? The movies too. Yeah, it's
And
like you just kind of.
I rewatched the movies in December, so I already did that.
They
But-
are good Christmas movies.
They are good Halloween, Christmas movies, kind of around that time period.
Mhm.
But I gotta say, I'm enjoying them a lot more than I was when I was reading them, like physically reading them, rather than like listening to them. Because Jim Dale is awesome at his voice
Oh yeah.
characters. But I gotta say, Goblet of Fire is better than I remember it to be. It's actually a really good
The book is really good.
Yeah.
It's
I
such a
definitely
good book.
understood your problems with the movie because
Yeah.
the book is fantastic.
The book's really
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
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 Moody is just totally different. And again, I've read the books before, so I think I just like, Jim Dale kind of opened it up more to me. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's cool.
I love how fleshed out Cedric Diggory gets
Oh, yeah.
in that book. It
Yeah.
just makes the ending so much harder.
Mhm.
It does. And I also the way he like voices people who are crying is so realistic. I like start tearing up sometimes. I'm like, oh man, this is sad.
Oh, I would start crying.
Yeah. So yeah, those are great. I'm making my way through those, and I did watch a couple movies. I watched the movie 65.
The one with
Basically
Adam Driver, right?
the one with Adam Driver. Yeah, essentially what this guy it takes place like 60 something million years ago, whatever. And this civilization who are basically humans from Earth that live on another planet, light years away from ours, who are futuristic technology, civilization. Adam Driver's character like taxis people across the universe essentially, and they crash land on Earth during the dinosaur period. But of course, it's right when the comet destroyed all the
Mhm.
dinosaurs is coming. So the entire story is him and one little girl that survives. They got to get to this escape pod. They got to get through all these dinosaurs and get off the planet before the comet comes. It was pretty stupid. It was fine. It was like an enjoyable like Saturday night movie, but
Right.
not worth seeing in theaters. So
Nothing to write home about.
no. I also did see Shazam 2 last weekend, which I will give a little review on when we get to the review section. But it's probably exactly what you think it's gonna be.
It's a movie.
It was better than Black Adam, but nothing crazy. So I'll talk about that in a bit. So that was been my couple weeks here, but
Nice.
yeah.
Zach?
Well, I've been flying a lot, and so I get free movies. So I did get a chance to finally watch Black Adam, which it was just so average.
It was.
I won't beat it to death, obviously. It just and like
Yeah.
the whole, your outsider storyline and we're gonna rise up on our own was just whatever.
Yeah.
I watched Sonic 2, which I actually really like.
I've heard great things, and it's hyping me up so much for Mario Bros. We're gonna watch the trailer later
Yeah.
on here, but super
No, the
excited for
Sonic
Mario
2
Bros.
was
So excited.
really good. Like I didn't even so I have a little bit of background in Sonic, mostly the comics, or
Yeah.
not the comics, sorry, the cartoon.
Mhm.
And so like I totally forgot about Supersonic or whatever his official name is. So like when he goes Supersonic at the end was
It's
awesome.
like Dragon Ball,
Saiyan, going
Super
Super
Saiyan.
Saiyan.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was really cool.
But
And
why does he gotta
then
have blonde hair and blue eyes when he goes Super
It's-
Saiyan?
he has red eyes. Blonde hair and
No,
red eyes.
he has blue eyes. I'm pretty sure.
Who? Sonic
Yeah.
or
No,
No,
oh
Goku.
Goku.
Yeah, Goku.
Yeah.
Yes. Sonic has yellow hair and red eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
And then teaser at the end for Shadow Sonic or whatever too. Pretty
Mhm.
cool. So I enjoyed it. It was good. Other than that, watched The Mandalorian, which was excellent. I know we'll talk about that later. And then I've been listening to the fourth book of the Empire series, which is the lit
Lit
RPG
RPG.
that I've recently been listening to. And just not to get super into it, but there's like two main characters that they primarily tell the story through their perspectives, Zach and Ryun.
Ryu.
Ryu in the
Ryun is
book.
kind of set up to be the bad guy.
That sounds like
because-
the Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter character.
Yeah, a
Ryu.
little bit.
Ryu.
Ryu.
Yeah.
Ryu.
So, quick overview. Basically, when your planet reaches a certain number of people, you enter into the framework or whatever. And then you have 10 years to get on the ranker list. And then it takes like the top 100,000 people on the ranker list to the infinite realm. And so, this is like the seventh iteration of that happening. So, basically, I think it's 10 worlds. So 100,000 people, and then this is the seventh iteration. Obviously, they're having kids, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So normally 100,000 people go, but Ryun kind of goes a little nuts, and he's got crazy powers that let him take on armies solo, basically. And so he kills everybody on Earth except for his former best friend Zach. And so basically, two people come from Earth, and they're way more powerful than anyone ever before who's been a ranker because they got all the power from everybody on Earth. Because when you kill people, you get like part of it's called essence, is how you rank up and stuff like that. So they get essence from them. So basically, since they killed everybody else, they're insanely powerful for how everybody else was. So Ryun's definitely set up as kind of the bad guy, but like he does go insane because of a power because he got tortured and then they killed his girlfriend, and so that kind of drives him insane, and then he starts killing everybody.
Yeah.
So like I've always liked his character more. I like his powers, all that stuff, and Zach is like one of those. He's like Superman. I'm sorry, like he is like that. Perfect justice, like
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Stiff
So-
morals.
Exactly right.
Mm.
So through the books, whatever, Ryun gets more and more powerful. He's like crazy strong, even in the infinite realm, because he's a natural at what he does. And Zach is powerful, but like I feel like the author has given him like random powers out of nowhere just to keep him
Relevant.
like important to the story. And so it really came to a head with the end of this fourth book. I've got like 2 hours left, so I have to see how it works out. But like they've been setting up Ryun as like this crazy powerful, like you when you get strong enough, you come up with an ideal, and that like gives you a crazy strong power and that you can only use like once every 3 or 4 months kind of thing, right? It's the cooldown is like 3 months or a year or whatever. And
Yeah.
like Ryun's whole deal, his whole ideal, the whole reason he exists, he's realized is to be the witness of Journey's End. So basically it's like he will be there when everything ends, like that is his purpose, is to listen to stories, and then he'll be there at the end. So
Yeah.
it's like setting this up because there's this big bad who's like crazy powerful and taking over the whole infinite realm, and you're like, and they create this team, and like you're like, okay, Rune's gonna like save the day. And the big bad is like this crazy strong mind power guy and puts everyone to sleep, and Ryun almost breaks out of it, but then doesn't. And then it switches to Zach's perspective. And of course,
Well, this
one
is
of
all
these,
your perspective, so
right.
I'm just kidding.
And so, of course, one of these like stupid random powers that he got at some point earlier in book three,
Yeah.
last book, right, is like he has perfect mind resistance or something like that. So he can because the bad guy puts them in like a dream state where they're like living life, but it's a fake reality, basically.
Yeah.
So Zach, with his perfect mind sense, basically realizes it's fake, and so the bad guy is like, well, I'm going to punish you and make you live every second kind of thing. So he stays in there and experiences 5,000 years
Mm.
basically. And so in this 5,000 years, this time compression training chamber, he gets this crazy powerful mind willpower where he basically breaks out of the prison after 5,000 years. He's gone nuts, completely like forgets everything basically because he's 5,000 years old at this point and he hasn't
Yeah.
interacted with anybody, and he's cycled through crazy insane so many times. He just understands he has to get out and kill somebody.
Yeah.
And so he basically breaks out, and then, okay, I have to explain one more thing, and then I'll get to the end of it. So there's three ways of power in the series. You have skills, or you have classes,
Okay.
cultivation, and skills. So classes, as you get that essence and rank up, you can just do a class as your main path, and you can't.
Yeah.
All three can't be your main path because then it's called imbalance sickness. Like you have to,
Mm.
your main path has to be like double of your lower two paths combined. So if you have like 8 tiers of power in your main path, you can only have 4 combined in your other 2. Otherwise, you start going nuts. Okay, so Zach's a classer, right? So that basically means his class, he gets a lot of skills like blink and crescent slash and stuff like that, right? Um, Cultivation is body. That's what Ryun is. So like he's improving his body. He gets techniques
Like Street
that
Fighter.
are like powers, right? And then skills is like you start off with like slash, and then you can evolve it to greater slash, and then you can evolve it to crescent slash and stuff like that. And then once you get to the 6th tier, it becomes a perfect skill. So it's like, so Ryun has perfect cut, right? So he started with cut and he got it to perfect cut. So then he takes perfect cut, and then you have to like add a specific meaning to it. So it gets a specific name. So his is like perfect cut, my foes torn asunder, basically. So it's like his understanding of perfect cut gives it more flavor, basically. And then when you have 2 tier 7 skills, you can combine them into a tier 8 skill, and then you can combine tier 8 skills into a tier 9 skill. So basically, a skill is a skill 1 through 6. Then you have to refine it to get it to 7, and then 2 7s combined into an 8.
Okay.
So Zach, and it all takes willpower, right? So technically, if you had a strong enough willpower, you could take a tier 1 skill and evolve it all the way to a tier 6 skill right away. Otherwise, you have to use it, and you basically get experience using it, and
Yeah.
then you have like like cut 100 different enemy types, right? To evolve it to the next level would be like a cut evolution, right? Well, so okay, so that's skills, right? So Zach comes out of this time training compression chamber and instantly is able to upgrade every single one of his skills to the most perfect they can possibly be on the fly,
Yeah.
and literally comes out and develops like 9 different perfect skills like that, and basically helps them win.
Yeah.
And it's just like it pisses me off because it's like that was such a MacGuffin way to handle that. Like you basically just gave him superpowers. Like I get that it was 5,000 years, but it was like again, you literally set it up as he, because there's also 2 ways you can upgrade skills. There's planners who basically plan out how they're going to upgrade, and then there's people who upgrade it in times of stress. And so Zach's always been a planner type of upgrader. So it's, and I get that, like, okay, character development and changing, blah, 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 blah. But it's like he's never shown that ability to have stress be the reason why he upgrades skills, but he just randomly gets the ability to just perfectly upgrade all these skills like that. So
Yeah.
I have two
It's like an
hours left.
extreme. It's like an extreme version of Captain America and the serum.
Right. Exactly. So I've got 2 hours left to finish it out. And there is
Yeah.
a book 5 that, like, it doesn't come out on audiobook, but the book itself comes out on the 31st. So there is another part to it, but I'm just like, and like Zach is technically the good guy, right? But like, I don't know. Ryun always struck me more as the Batman type. So I always liked Ryun better.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of disappointed that the story ended up being the way it is. So that was a little salty. That I was listening to it today, so it's why it's fresh in my mind. It just kind of annoyed me, but
Yeah.
we need to do a lit RPG episode because
Yes.
I could go on for hours. And He Who Fights with Monsters book 9 comes out. The audiobook comes out in mid-April, so I'm excited for that. That'll be the, well, not the next book on my list because I'll have to have something in between, but that's one I'll be looking forward to the most. So
Yeah.
can't wait
Cool.
for that one. I love all the
Nice.
different like realms and ways to write
Yeah.
power sets and everything. Like every
Right.
author puts their own little spin on it, so it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool.
All right, what's up with you, Tyler?
Well, this month I was able to start my PC upgrade, which is
Yes.
very exciting. You can see it maybe back here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is my brand new case.
Nice.
And you might be wondering, well, why do you need a new case? Well, I broke it down for Homer. Basically, to get my CPU upgraded, I needed 3 more upgrades just to do that. Because my cooler that I need for my new CPU won't fit in my old case. So I need a new case, new cooler that comes with my new CPU. So
Yeah.
it's just been I worked it out what I need to get in what order. So
Right.
this is the start. And I'm basically just getting a new system, and it'll probably be done around June or July, which is super exciting. But it started, and I got 16 gigs of RAM added to my 16. So now I'm at 32, which helped me. This is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
To play Hogwarts Legacy this week. Because it's been a struggle.
Yeah.
With my, for some reason, 16 gigs of RAM. Maybe it's just because I have lower system specs, so it pushes it more onto my RAM, but it would like overload my CPU and my RAM while running. And that got really stressful because I'm looking at my metrics and it's like 99% CPU load and like 93% RAM load. And I'm just like, please don't blow up. So anyways, I was able to play Hogwarts with my CPU resting at like 60% and my RAM at 40% usage. So that was super nice. And I got to put in like 4 or 5 hours in Hogwarts this week. So that was a lot of fun. I got to progress my story a lot. I got to do some side quests, and I kind of just got in and I was like, there's so much to do. And I
There's
don't know
so
where to
much to
start.
do. I
So
know.
I'm just going to go. Like, I'm just going to, you know what? Let's get new spells. Like, that's what I need to do. So, like,
Yeah.
right now I'm like way beyond my story limit. Like, I'm kind of holding back from the story to just kind of like be in the world. Because I know the story's not that great. So, but it's a lot of fun. I'm about to learn Crucio, which is fun. So I'm working on that. But yeah, so I played Hogwarts. I watched a lot of Diablo 4 closed beta because I did not pre-order, nor did I have the time to play the closed beta if I did. So I just spent time watching it. And let me tell you, holy smokes,
It
that game
looks
looks
really good.
phenomenal. Have you seen Diablo 3? Any of you?
Yes.
Like, have you? Yeah, like Diablo 3, pardon my language, looks like shit
I know.
compared to Diablo 4.
It
Like,
looks so
holy
real.
smokes.
It's so
It
cool.
is incredible. I
Yeah.
was like,
The
I was blown
mud,
away when
the
I
mud
heard.
looks good
Yeah,
in this game.
man.
The blood
Like,
looks good in this game.
You know when the mud looks good in this
Yeah.
game, in a game, it's a
Yeah.
good game. No, but
Right.
like the world looks insane for Diablo 4, and I'm really hyped for it, and I'm glad that it's finally coming to be released.
Yeah.
So I did watch a lot of that. And then my week kind of was news exploration. So we'll get into the news that I've got for you guys afterwards. But other than that, PC upgrade, Hogwarts. I did play Elden Ring. We didn't have an episode last week, but I played Elden Ring with Biggy. Didn't go great, but we did it.
Yeah.
And then I picked up Immortal again because I got so excited about Diablo and was really let down by how bad it looks. But no, it's been fun to like swap between PC and phone for Immortal. That's a pretty cool thing about it.
Yeah. You can just pick it up on the go.
Yeah, pick up and go. What else did I do this week? Bad Batch. Phenomenal. Please watch. Great world building going on in Bad Batch.
We'll do a big review.
Oh, I know, but I'm hyping it up because it's pretty good. Mandalorian, obviously, we'll get to that. But so my week's been pretty good. I watched this documentary on video games, how they started on Netflix. It's kind of an older documentary, I think 2020, maybe 21. But basically is going through like how we got to where we are now with video games. The showrunners, Nintendo taking over the world and then being challenged by Sega Genesis with 16-bit. And it is super fascinating to see what the gaming world was like, because it cultivated this environment of, how Apple and Google started in the garage. That's how video games started after Nintendo and Sega took over. I mean, people were just like, oh, I want to make a better game, so let me do it right here at my Apple II. And it just kind of blew up because of those types of people and that way. So it's a super interesting documentary.
What's it called?
Yeah, so that's I'll have to pull it up. I think it's like Game Over or something.
Okay.
While you're pulling that up, I totally forgot to mention, did either of you guys see the Creative 2.0 announcement for Fortnite yesterday, I think?
Yes, that's part of the news. We'll get into that. It's called High Score. High Score on Netflix.
Okay.
Cool. And episodes 2020. Yeah, so it came out 2020. I think it's 5 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, super interesting, super fun for those gamer nerds who are kind of interested in the architecture of gaming and whatnot. But yeah.
Cool. Well, I did realize I didn't start recording the audio portion of this. So for those who listen on at Spotify and Apple Podcasts, this is a chance for you. Well, let me start it here. So we're recording on
in progress.
Recording on audio now. This is a chance for you guys to go over to our Twitch and YouTube channels and go listen to the beginning portion of the podcast here, because we were not recording our weeks. So if you want to learn what we've been up to, go check that out on twitch.tv/talking_nerds or at Talking Nerds Podcast on YouTube. So welcome for those on the audio portion. We're going to get into our news here. So I'll start by just with some quick video game news. Starfield officially got a release date of September 6th, and actually had a little bit of a showcase as well. It looks like there are so many freaking worlds in this game. It's going to be insane. There's also going to be aliens. Lots of different types of aliens are going to be fighting monsters and stuff. So it looks really good. I'm actually super hyped for this. At first, I thought it'd be like a little Halo, like ripoff, but I'm super excited. And the fact that Bethesda always pushes back their games, and it's only been pushed back 3 months from when it was originally supposed to come out is pretty, optimistic. So I'm super excited. and we'll be playing that this fall. So
I'm just hoping that they have upgraded their source.
yeah,
Bethesda's notorious for reusing old material that's
right.
outdated. And
Yep.
I'm just really hoping that they don't mess this one up.
And this is called Skyrim in space. So or
Yeah.
it even has some Fallout vibes to it. So there might be
Mhm.
some reused stuff.
I mean, it's fine
So
if you bring like material or like
yeah,
that type, but like the source, like the architecture of it, they're
yeah,
notorious for like copy pasting like the source material and then just
right.
reskinning it, and it's just super out of date. And you're like, "Ugh." So
Yeah,
fingers crossed. Hopeful, but fingers crossed.
yeah. We also found out the Olympics is now going to have esports. So that kind of, there's the whole debate: are esports real sports? Well, apparently they are,
They are,
because
but only these types. Only
yeah.
these
So
types.
I'm sure you're like, oh no way, that's exciting. So what? They're going to have League of Legends, Fortnite,
Rocket
um,
League,
Rocket League, you
Counter
know,
Strike.
yeah. Hold your
No,
horses. No,
yeah,
we're just going to
literally.
have sports that already exist in the Olympics, but virtual. So
You're joking.
we got
It's
archery.
basically it's
Wii
VR.
Sports.
VR.
Yeah, basically Wii
Yes.
Sports. Yeah.
So we got archery, baseball, chess, cycling, dance, motorsport, sailing, and taekwondo. Oh, and tennis too,
Nice.
which already exist for real, like
You know,
real life sports.
the only one on this list that I'm okay with is chess. Like
It's
Right.
that
chess.com.
it's chess.com, but I'm okay with that. But like I mean that's an esport. That's fine. You're playing over, but like or you could just play on a chessboard.
Right.
Like
Right. I
it doesn't
know.
have to be over the internet. And
Right.
like I get what they're trying to do. Like they're trying to like maintain the physical aspect of the Olympics by like making these like but don't call it esports. Just call it like something else. Like
Right.
when people in the esports community think esports, they're thinking Valorant, Counter Strike, Rocket
Rocket
League,
League.
League of
Yeah.
Legends is
Yeah.
the biggest esport in the
Mhm.
world always, and like
Now,
you just kind
granted,
of like
those already have their own,
World
basically world
championships. Yeah.
championships. So,
yeah,
but this is
but to
global.
to
So,
compete for your country,
Right. Well,
like
and
and
yeah.
that
get
would
that
be
title and medal.
Yeah.
yeah. I think the difficult thing with any of those kinds though is like think about League of Legends. You have to not only you have to have a lot of time with your team to gel as a team. And everyone has different play styles and
Yeah.
a lot of times these teams nowadays are not all from the same country. So I can understand that not being an Olympic sport if that's what you're worried about, right? Is being able to find 5 American players, 5 British players. I mean, the South Korean team's probably just going to win because
Yeah.
they win everything. But like, if that's the case, then just don't do esports. Then,
Yeah.
if that's what you're worried about, like, I would love for it to be a part in some way. I think Rocket League would make a lot of sense because that
Hmm.
is extremely popular.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm sure it's probably easier for people to follow than League of Legends because it's soccer with cars, right?
Right.
Everyone understands soccer.
Yep.
I was hopeful for because like right now the esports landscape is all organizations
Mhm.
similar like franchises like American sports, right? And when you go from the NBA to the Olympics, you pick the best of the best from those
Right.
franchises. So when you think of an esports team USA, you're thinking, okay, this best jungler in the US
Mhm.
from this team, the best top laner in the US from this team. Like you're picking the best of the best from your country
Yeah.
as the United States. Like it doesn't matter what organization you're in, doesn't matter, what state you're from,
Right.
for United States, but like you're picking the best for the United States of all the organizations, and that's your US team. Like that's not that hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and now that you say it, everyone would have to deal with, you know, combining players
yeah,
on the teams, right?
yeah,
Unless you happen to have a team that like all 5 of them are from South Korea, and South Korea's like, well, maybe there's a little bit better support, but we're gonna go with the fact that all 5 of them already communicate, and then they just
yeah.
wreck everybody in the tournament. But okay, that's the risk you take. Maybe you force them to have to pick 5 from 5 different teams or something like that. I don't know. It could work.
Well,
It definitely could work.
Yeah, I mean, if the best team in South Korea is already an organization team, so be it. If as long as they're all citizens from South Korea. For the United States, that's not the case. You
Right.
know, the United States is not very North America is not great at league.
Hmm.
But to pick the best of the best from the United States, from
Right.
Mexico, from Canada, like that's going to be maybe your country can't compete, but that's something to look forward to cultivate the growth of the sport.
Right.
And I
I do
think
think
that's
it'll
what
be
they're
good.
missing here is
Yeah.
an opportunity to farm players to be better, to look forward
Hmm.
to this opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, and that's always been the problem with America, the American player base and league in general.
Mm.
Is South Korean servers are way more populated and way more competitive than the American servers. So yeah, when you have four times or two times, four times, whatever the number of players playing in one country, you're gonna have better players to pick from to
Yeah.
make the teams. So yeah, when the World Championship comes around, of course South Korea is kicking everybody's butt, or China, right? Because they have more player bases to pick from. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. So I
But
get
that
it.
cultivates, that burns the
Right.
feet of the US. I mean, okay,
Right.
you want to compete at the world stage, so we need
So
players.
we
And
do
you know what?
imports. That's what
Right. Well, we
they
might get a South Korean US citizen to play for
Yeah.
right.
us. Like that would be so cool.
Exactly.
Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you're at least cultivating growth in the
Right.
countries, in the scene, and overall benefiting the esports scene
Yeah.
as a whole, which is a big money pit right now.
Denmark's
So
team would also kick ass because they have
yeah.
Bjergsen and Svenskeren, and I think Reckless is also from Denmark, and I maybe
Hmm.
Caps. There's a lot of really good players from
Yeah,
Denmark too,
EU's
randomly.
is really good too, but I don't know. It would be hard for EU probably to get full national teams just
Yeah.
because their player bases per nation aren't that broad, but as a region are,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But so that's disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of the games are for archery. It'd be tic tac bow, whatever that is.
Tic tac toe, but with archery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but again, the only one of these games, actually two of them are actually like familiar. Baseball is WBSC eBaseball Power Pros.
World Baseball Classic.
Chess it's chess.com. Cycling is Zwift with a Z. Dance is Just Dance. Actually, I guess that one's
Okay, that
that's
should be
kind of
kind of fun.
interesting. I guess.
Yeah.
That's it.
Um,
I'll probably watch it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Motorsport is of course Gran Turismo, which
Mm.
actually does sound cool. That'd be
And
cool
that
to
one
see.
sounds cool.
And
Yeah.
there are
Of
actually
all
no
of those,
real motorsports in the Olympics right now. So
Right. Yeah.
out of all of those, the motorsports and the chess are the most interesting to me. But I would just say make chess an actual board. Right.
yeah, right. Sailing
But
is virtual regatta. Regatta. Taekwondo
Yeah.
is virtual taekwondo.
hey, where's Microsoft Flight Simulator? Can we have some
Right.
Right.
pilots?
And then tennis is tennis clash.
Hmm.
So no Wii Sports on here? That's so
Right.
sad.
Like that.
We
tickles-
what is the sword fighting, the duels? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
So,
Beat Saber. Where's the Beat
Yeah,
Saber
right.
at?
That would be really cool, actually.
Dude, no, what they should do is like Guitar Hero or something. Just get
Yes.
someone
Yeah.
shredding
Yes.
Guitar Hero up there.
Get
Mhm.
national bands, like you got a drummer, a guitar, and a
Yeah.
Yeah,
bassist.
garage
Like
band.
they're like best score
Right.
rock band.
Yeah.
That'd
Or
be
Rock
cool.
Band. Yeah, that's what it was.
Rock
Not
Band,
garage
yeah.
band.
So yeah,
We used to play Rock Band Friday nights because you were only allowed to bring the drums out on Friday nights because obviously people go to bed early. But
Yeah.
we would
But not on
bring those out.
Fridays.
Yeah, we'd bring those out on Friday nights and just jam for like 4 hours. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Good times.
Yep.
so that's all the news I got. Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah, we have some really exciting news. So that's kind of a letdown with the Olympics.
Yeah.
So if you weren't aware, this last weekend, GDC happened, and we have some really, really exciting things for the gaming world in general. And that's going to start off with Unreal Engine 5.2. This is a breakthrough.
Mhm.
If you know anything about game engines, all you don't even have to know anything. If you look at Unreal Engine 4 right now compared to Unreal Engine 5 stock, holy smokes, like it's a world of difference. But at GDC, they were showing 5.2, so an upgraded version of Unreal 5. and it's all about textures and world generation, and it is insane. They managed to get higher fidelity with higher frame rates. So a win-win. Like you're not
Mhm.
sacrificing like performance for this higher engine. They've optimized it incredibly. And I would encourage you guys to go to the GDC YouTube and look at the engine, the Unreal Engine 5.2 demo. They drive a Rivian through an auto-generated jungle. um, they're like calculating the deflation of the tires on the rocks. Like that's all generated in this engine. The we all know about ray tracing with the RTX series cards. We're on our third generation of ray tracing now, but
For
the coloring on everything, the
ray
materials are
tracing.
different. And so it's all incredible stuff, and it's really exciting because 5.2 is kind of the marker from when newer games are actually going to be in Unreal Engine 5 before 5.2, but 5.2 will be able to be integrated into them after launch. So we're going to be seeing Unreal Engine games on UE5. That's going to be incredible. And it's super exciting. And that goes along with Fortnite Creative 2, which is kind of going to be their forerunner for community development in Unreal Engine 5. And holy smokes, does Fortnite look beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks insane. Like you kind of, it almost looks like you took a Fortnite character model and threw it in Halo, or you threw it in
Call of Duty.
Titanfall, or anything. Like
Yeah.
it is incredible looking, and I'm super excited because it's not like it's not like you have to all of a sudden get a 4080 to run this. Like this stuff is running on 1080s.
Yeah.
And it's incredible stuff, and that's really exciting.
Yeah.
And so this is a huge development for the gaming world.
And for me too, it like think about what that means. If you can create Halo inside Fortnite and play Halo with your Fortnite characters and then branch from there and create some crazy Fortnite MMORPG, like you're bringing like all this stuff into one place. And what's the Ready Player One,
Yeah.
like to me it gives me that vibes, right, where it's like
Yeah.
you can create this whole system where it's all linked and you can have your character and you
Yeah.
can customize your character with all these different elements and go to all these
Yeah.
different gaming worlds inside one place, and it's all integrated together is crazy exciting.
Yeah.
And the fact that Fortnite, you
Yep.
already can play basically any character in any video game as is, you know?
Right, that's
So,
true. Yeah, because they've
Yeah.
got so many
Yeah.
you can be the
collabs.
Put
Witcher
on
in
my
Halo,
Deadpool
you know?
skin and go play Halo.
Right, right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
So
Yeah.
that's super cool for the gaming world, and that
Yeah.
kind of goes with the documentary that I watched. Like we're creating the foundation for people to just be like, I want this kind of game, and I want
Yeah.
it to do this, and this is different than any other game that we have right now, and
Yeah.
this is giving artists and developers the ability to do that so freely and easier, but also making it not look like it's easy.
Yeah.
It just looks so professional out of the box, and it's really phenomenal stuff, and I'm super excited for it. And it's
Yeah.
also a great upgrade path from 4 to 5. Developers will have an easier time. You'll see not really remastered games, but upgraded engines for games that are running on UE5 now. And that goes into the next news is Counter-Strike 2. Now, this is not off of Unreal Engine, but it's kind of on that same path. They're upgrading the game engine, which has been in the game for like 15 years. Like Counter-Strike is old,
Yeah.
and it is popular. It is very popular. And they not just, but I think recently within like the last 2 weeks announced Counter-Strike 2, and it's in closed beta right now. So I was watching Shroud, Big Daddy Shroud, play Counter-Strike 2, and it looks
The graphics
phenomenal.
are crispy.
Yes, ray tracing, and then they're like updating how interactive the utilities are. So the Molotovs, the smokes, you can like shoot out the smokes like little holes because now the smoke generates like objects instead
Wow.
of just being a smoke. So like you
Mhm.
can run through it and it'll like stick to your player and kind of like
Oh,
mess up the smoke. It's so cool
wow.
looking. Um, it's
That's going
really
to be a
intense.
crazy skill gap to like
Yeah,
learn
it
the
already
script.
is, and
Right.
it's just gonna be even more. Like,
Yeah.
it's I'm super excited. I love Counter Strike. But yeah, so that's another kind of news thing is like we're starting to see this upgrade engine to bigger and better, and overall just better. Like you're gonna be playing a movie
Yeah.
in Unreal Engine 5. That's what this is. Like it looks like a movie.
It's
Yeah.
unreal.
So
It is
yeah,
unreal.
one might
And
say.
the fact that
Yeah.
anybody can access this stuff is crazy too. Like anybody can use Unreal Engine, it's just it's your
Right.
Yeah.
creativity,
Right.
that's all you're
Yep.
bound by.
Yep.
So it's pretty cool.
Now I just need Rocket League to come to UE5.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah,
Your
so
your
that's
pun, Nathan, reminded me of something when Warzone, like a Warzone original Warzone first dropped to the Tap Man, like the first day they were in there and there was like explosions going off all around him. He's like, man, it's like Warzone out here.
Yeah.
yeah. So last part of that news is not really gaming, but that's gaming news. So super exciting, nothing crazy in like announcement wise, but like super awesome to look forward to for the future of current games and new releases. So kind of shifting gears into cinematic. Nathan already, or sorry, Biggie already mentioned it that Shazam, but it was already calculated that it was not going to do well at the box office, so the funds weren't mismanaged. So
Yeah.
that's kind of good news. They expected it to not hit, but James Gunn kind of came out and he was like, "Yeah, we knew it wasn't going to hit like we wanted it to, so we kind of were already prepared for this, and we're just gonna move on."
Well,
So at least
they
he's
kind
not
of screwed
sticking to his
themselves over
guns.
though because they told everybody that. And it's like, why would you tell everybody it's not going to be
Right.
that great?
They did
Like
it before the weekend too,
I
right? The
know
the
they
launch
did. They
weekend.
did.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are idiots. Why
Yeah,
But
would
hey, at
at least
least
anybody
they
they're
go
kind
see
of
it
tried
self-aware.
then?
to. I mean, but
At least
Marvel
they're
did the
self-aware.
same thing where they were like, we know that the quality's not been great. We're gonna have to,
So we're gonna keep pumping out the same old shit.
regroup.
It's
But
like,
that was post. That was post like Ant-Man.
True,
This is
true.
yeah,
pre-Shazam 2. He's
Right.
like, yeah, it's not gonna do well this weekend, but we're ready for it. It's like, okay. Oh
I
man.
think he's
But
just
yeah, so
biding
that's
his
kind of
time until he can come out with his Superman movie, and then
yeah. So
so
that's kind of what's going on in the gaming world, which I'm super excited for. If you
yeah.
couldn't tell by my animation,
No, it's gonna be
I'm
awesome. Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
a lot of
Gaming
remastered
is
games.
and not even remastered. I just hope updated engine. Um,
Yeah,
I guess that's not so remastered is like technically like you're redefining things, but like if you update the engine, that's not necessarily a remaster. You just upgrade the ability to change and add things,
yeah,
which I'm super excited for with like Rocket League. I love Rocket League. I've played it for since 2017 pretty consistently. To
yeah.
have that on Unreal Engine 5 and not have like the mechanic bugs that happen is going to be phenomenal because you're going to look so good. I just can't wait.
Your
I hope
little
they
your little
remaster,
character and
update
your
Battlefield 4. That would be awesome.
Battlefield 4. I don't think Origin is going to do that, but I also love Battlefield 4 and
It's so
may it
good.
rest in peace. I
Yeah.
still play it from time to
Oh,
time.
we still play it too, me and my buddies. Like, there's still popping lobbies. Like, there's multiple lobbies you can hop
Oh yeah.
into. It
And
is
they're
still
quality.
super popular.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's it for me for news. Unless you had anything else you could think of. I know we're
nope.
not a news podcast, but
We're not.
yeah.
Well, it's just kind of topics that we're
Yeah.
excited about. But yeah, we do still have a bunch to talk about, so I'm trying to speed through here. But Shazam 2, I'll just give a quick review here. Wonder Woman showed up, and that was the best part of it. Go watch it if you want to learn why she shows up. But it was funny. I did laugh. I was enjoying the humorous part of it. It was a nice popcorn movie again. The villains were pretty stupid. And overall, the movie was very pointless. But yeah, again, nobody's
Is he
surprised.
done? Like, is Shazam
No,
done
he's
with
still
the
going
DC?
at the end of the movie. And
Okay.
apparently people are like, why does it matter if it's over? And the director said it's not necessarily over if people like it. or something along those
So
lines.
basically, he's saying, "Let me know if you like the actor's portrayal of this character, and we may keep them around."
Yeah. They set up some stuff at the end that they were continuing from the first movie, and it's just like it felt very pointless. Yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I'd give it a 5 out of 10, I guess.
So average.
Yeah. So that's your big Shazam 2 review right there.
Mid.
At least it wasn't
It's
a
mid.
letdown. I will
As the
say.
kids say
At
these
least
days, it's mid.
At least it wasn't like sub 5. You know, like at least
Yeah.
it,
I
at least
laughed.
it
Black
had
Adam
some
was like
entertainment.
a
Yeah, at least it
3 or a
had
4.
entertainment.
I
It had
wasn't
entertainment
getting
value.
pissed off. I was just like, okay. There was one little gay thing, but it was like pointless gay thing where it was like no, like pointless and like the character was gay, but there was no signs of him being gay other than him saying I'm gay. So,
So like the
thank you, Fat Taco Brown.
Beauty
I
and
know
the
who that
Beast.
is.
the
Yeah, we do.
Beauty and the Beast gay LeFou.
Yeah, you're gay. Thank you. Yeah. But basically he like was looking at a picture of a baseball player and was like fondly looking at him. So that was it. That was it.
Okay, whatever.
So,
That's just
but yeah,
representation for representation's sake.
Chicago permit. Yep. So,
Yeah, I had to.
Fat Taco Brown, first time chat. You're gay. I like it.
Oh, I know who Fat Taco Brown is.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of clickbait for me to put that in the title of this episode, but there really wasn't much of a review to give. So, yeah. So we did watch. We didn't have an episode last week, so there was Mando episode 3 and Mando episode 4 this week. I think we can kind of skip episode 3. I don't know if you guys really, because I think more of the stuff, the meat. I just gotta say, I thought for an hour-long episode, I thought most of it was pointless and kind of filler.
Yeah.
Because it was
one
just
thing to
leading
say.
towards the sequels. That's all it was leading towards.
The Mandalorian. Everybody, and I agree. Episode 3 felt like Andor.
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, you're just kind of like following this character. You don't really know what's going on.
That
and
you
there's
don't
another
really
character.
care about anyways. It was like pointless character.
Yeah. And
Forgettable
but
character
it
from
did-
season 1.
Like the lighting and the mood was all very Andor-esque, which I thought they were trying to kind of like make this. Maybe it's got heavier weight at the end. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
well, I
maybe
don't
they're-
even understand the point of
Well-
focusing on Dr. Pershing.
I think it's
Well,
only to set up the Snoke stuff or Palpatine. Yeah, Palpatine returning. That's
Yeah,
all it's
the
going
cloning,
towards.
Yeah, and
It's
honestly,
Moff Gideon, his chick, whoever she is. I can't remember her really from.
Kane, Officer Kane.
Yeah, she's
it,
working for Gideon, who's working for Palpatine.
and it goes hand in hand with Bad Batch too. So those releases kind of go hand in
Coincide.
hand. Yeah, with the whole cloning technology and what's going on with that and what that leads to, which is not encouraging for dropping the sequels off into the ocean, unfortunately.
So.
So that's the only bad part we can say about it. But it wasn't a bad episode. It was just
wasn't bad.
boring.
Yeah.
It was
just
very
boring.
boring. I fell asleep and I still got
Um,
the gist of it at the
The
end.
tip
So it was
of
an
the
episode-
mountain was cool.
The what?
Yeah.
The tip of the mountain? Yeah, it was cool to see
that's in,
Coruscant
what,
again.
Rebels
That was
or
cool.
Clone Wars, right? So, and like, but I haven't watched those shows. So for me, that was the first time experiencing the fact that there actually was some of the natural ground of Coruscant that you can go touch. So that was
Yeah.
cool. I liked that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much a 5 out of 10. Just an average, like
Yeah.
kind of low on entertainment value, but also not bad. It just
And
was kind of boring.
Bo-Katan kind of realizing and like integrating into the
the
coven,
watch.
It is like,
So
and
that's what we're getting
obviously
into this
that
week's
rolls
episode.
into this week's episode,
Yeah.
but like it's cool.
Yeah.
Kind of
It is,
seeing
yeah.
the character.
It is actually cool, and it is interesting. But I feel like Bo has become a NPC at this point. She just says stuff and points places. Like that's kind of what her character feels like now. She doesn't have much drive, which maybe is because she just doesn't have drive anymore. But like the way she talks is so like monotone and like NPC like. We are going to do this. We are going to find the dragon over here. we're gonna go by foot now because he will hear the. I don't know. It just felt like really mundane, like odd. So
Sure. I agree with what you're saying.
yeah,
However, she is going through probably the biggest
Culture
arc.
shock.
yeah,
Yeah. One, she's in a completely different cast of Mandalorians from what she's used to. She's used to royalty, and now
Mhm.
she's like bottom of the barrel, like cultists. And she also just witnessed a mythosaur. So
Right.
she's kind of like, oh, like,
Rocking
and
her
we see that
world.
at
Yeah.
the end of the episode. Yeah, we see that at the end of the episode when
Which we
she
haven't
asks for the
talked about
sigil.
that. I guess maybe we did a little
I
bit, but
totally, as soon as also one side note, when she was
yeah.
flying around and I
Yeah.
saw it fall off, I'm like, they're totally gonna give her a mythosaur pauldron.
And I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. She's
I
like, "Can I
mean,
be
yeah.
Night Owl and Mythosaur?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yes, yes, you can. Yes, you can do it." So
Yeah.
I was pretty excited for that. But no, like I think she's going through a huge development right now, and so this episode, she definitely comes off as NPC, but she's also going through a lot as a character.
Yeah.
She just realized that her home world is habitable. She
Yeah.
just realized that the Mythosaur is a real thing and it's alive and it's there.
Not a myth.
It's not a myth, and she's in this brand new family of sorts that she got accepted into that she doesn't really want to be a part of, but she's kind of going along with it for now because she needs allies. So
Yeah.
she's kind of in this rock and a hard place. And so I think maybe she's just trying to gain supporters.
Well, they're the only
Who
Mandalorians
knows?
left, really. So I mean, as far as
Yeah.
we know. So
I don't
Right.
know if cute's the right word, but when she asked Din, like, how do you eat with your mask
Yeah,
on?
that was
You
weird.
don't. Like that, I actually liked that part. Like it was cool.
Yeah.
And then for what Paz or Pav, whatever
Yes,
his name
Paz
is.
Vizsla.
Yeah,
I
for
thought it
him
was
to
kind
be
of
like,
funny,
no,
though.
you're the leader. You get to eat at the fire. Like
it felt so awkward though. They're like all shuffle away, and then it was just she's, all right. Next scene. So, okay.
I like the Sun v Sun.
Yeah, that
Right.
was pretty.
The-
That was
the-
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Sun v Sun.
And then-
I'm still kind of thinking it's a little cheesy.
Again,
with the
yeah.
puppet.
We talked about this
Yes.
last week. Zach wasn't here, but I was just saying, like,
yeah, it's a
they're
little bit.
overdoing it with Grogu
Yes.
at this point. He's overdone, and it's just kind of shoving it in your face now at this
But
point.
I'm glad that this one wasn't just pointless. Like,
Right.
okay, the last time it was cheesy, he went and saved his dad. Like, okay, whatever. But like this
Yeah.
one, like there's actually some growth here. Like he's
Mhm.
learning
Yeah.
the ways of
I
being a
agree.
Mandalorian. That
Another
there's
Order
actually an end
66
goal.
perspective, which was really
Yeah, there's like
cool.
an actual.
But like, it had
we-
no. Who was that guy? It was like, come
Well,
on.
okay. Okay.
No, he is someone.
Yes, and this
Okay,
is
maybe
why
I just don't
sent
know him
you-
then.
This is why I sent you that
Jar Jar thing.
Jar Jar thing. That is the actor of Jar Jar Binks.
Oh,
So that's what the guy was talking about in the video where he's like, okay, it's the symbolism of the fact of, yes, Jar Jar could have been the one to save Grogu because he was a senator at the time. Obviously, that's not what they were trying to say, but like symbolically, it fits. That was the
interesting.
actor of Jar Jar Binks, and for him to be able to like dual wield lightsabers and save Grogu and put him on a Naboo ship
Okay.
was awesome.
That makes it
Was
cooler because
awesome.
I was just
Yeah.
like disappointed when I saw that, but that makes
Yeah.
it much better then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe that specific Jedi is in a video game. It is not. It's the MMO of Star Wars.
Battlefield?
No.
or
No.
Battlefront. I mean,
Knights of
Republic. Knights of the Old
Knights of
Republic.
Old Republic.
no,
maybe?
no, not Knights of the
KOTOR.
Old Republic.
Yes,
just
it's
the Old
KOTOR.
Republic.
KOTOR. Knights
That's
of
the
Old
the
Republic.
MMO is just
Yeah.
the Old Republic.
Maybe, but anyway, I'm pretty sure
Pretty
he
sure.
is a
Sure it's
character at the
KOTOR.
end of that or something. Like he's established, but nobody really knows.
What does
about
the
him.
chat
It's not
say?
really canon. Nobody knows. But yeah, no. The main significance was the Jar Jar link,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was super cool.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool.
Yeah. So
I thought it was funny when they were rescuing Mars. Is it Mars Vizsla? Maz Vizsla?
Mhm.
His son. He's like, he's alive. That was just like,
he's alive.
it was like, oh.
So
That was a little
I was
out of
watching
character
it.
for
It
him
was.
to be like, it's my son.
Yeah, I
And it's
know.
like-
yeah, I was well because he's like this brutish like
Right.
Vizsla,
Yeah.
one of the biggest families in Mandalore, and then all of a sudden it's
Right.
like that's my son, and you're like, what?
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my wife pointed out it's a little unrealistic this episode.
Yeah,
Just
can we talk
like,
about
yeah.
those 3 baby chicks totally not being able to fit in the spaceship?
I know,
just
and it
all
looked,
the
it was like
Mandalorians?
Modoc all over again. I'm like, come on,
So
guys,
bad.
come on,
But
Disney.
also the fact that like so Mama Dragon brings back food,
Mama
right?
Susan.
And then they're like, you know what? We're gonna camp out for the night and we're gonna take the mountain in the morning. Like, I'm
Maybe you
pretty
should do it
sure
at
he's
night.
dinner. I
Yeah.
don't think he's breakfast. I'm pretty sure
Right.
he's dinner.
Yes.
But
Not
then
to
like,
mention the
oh,
time it took for Bo to follow, then come all the way back, and then them fly all the way back again. And
right.
Made
Right.
no
So just
sense.
like
Timeline didn't
like
match up.
realistically, Mars is dead, but like in the
Yeah.
episode, he just gets regurgitated at the last minute, and they're like, "He's alive." And then
Right.
it's
He's
like, oh,
alive.
yeah, he's got babies.
So
Also,
stupid.
when he does the heat scan, I'm like, "Yeah, that's her babies, dude."
Mhm.
I was like, I know right away.
Yeah.
That's her
Yeah.
babies, and sure enough, there it is.
Again,
So,
everybody
no,
looks
but-
stupid except for Mando. Again, like what the heck?
But hey,
I mean,
at
but
least he
he's the
wasn't
main
stupid this
character.
episode.
Right. He
At
wasn't.
least
He
he
was
wasn't
not.
dumb.
2 episodes ago.
I know he was pretty dumb. Yeah, the last
Yeah.
episode 2.
Oh,
I
important
also
part. I'm sorry. Important part. Grogu got his first piece of armor from the armorer,
I know. I
That
thought
was
it.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool.
and that was cool. It's a little breastplate for him. Everybody wanted a helmet, but you can't do that until you can speak the creed.
Right.
And
It's
honestly,
an
I'm
interesting
not sure.
breastplate, but okay.
Well, he's
Yeah.
a small dude.
I know, but it
I'm
was a
not
circle.
necessarily.
It was just kind of. It looked odd.
He's already got chainmail.
Looked like he had a
I'm
giant,
just-
like
shield.
like
Medallion.
sticker. Like Potter sucks sticker, Potter stinks sticker. And they're just like.
just a little pin.
Yeah, it's a pin. Exactly.
I'm not too convinced that I want Grogu to become a Mandalorian necessarily, or like a foundling. Like, I'm not really sure that that's what I want for him in the end, and I don't know if that's where they're taking it. But I'm just like,
Yeah.
if they do, I don't know if that's gonna upset me or make me excited. You know what I mean?
Well, and also the one thing that worries me too is number one, timeline, and we're obviously always leading towards the sequels, which are awful. So it's like, what are they
Yeah.
gonna do, and how long are we gonna drag? Like, how long can you drag out Grogu? Are you gonna have to do time jumps so that he can actually talk and actually develop some new abilities, or like what are they gonna do with his character? And then that also leads into a video I saw of this guy. I haven't done my own research on this, so this could be complete BS, but he basically said Disney's admitted that Star Wars is in a very tenuous position right now as a franchise. It's not doing great. And in order
It's a
to
streaming property now. That's all it is.
Right. Yeah. And in order to save it, they are going to do a new movie or movies starring Rey and Grogu. And I'm like, okay,
You guys don't learn from anything.
number one, Rey is the reason that Star Wars died because no one likes her character.
Right.
And then number two, Grogu's great with like the girls and the kids, but like if you want anything out of that character, you're gonna have to age him, and then he's no longer Baby Yoda. He's
Right.
Yoda. And so like what do you think the plan is here? Like how are you gonna make this work? So that makes me nervous, the fact that they're really gonna invest everything in Baby Yoda, who can't stay Baby Yoda forever.
Right.
So
I'm just hoping. I'm hoping. Like I said this when I came onto the show. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and what's coming out with the world building aspect of it. So like I can always take something positive, but I can only take so much world building before you have to develop something.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I agree. It's in a very tenuous spot, and it makes me nervous because I don't want this to turn into an MCU. I want what's best for the franchise that I love the most. And I love the world building that we're getting from Bad Batch, and I think that that fits in its place. Like it's an animated series. I don't think you need to animate a core storyline to develop the universe, but I think it fits in its place to develop the world in which main things happen. But on the flip side, The Mandalorian, that needs to be your Trojan horse, I guess, for lack of a better term, to develop and push the story with those world building aspects built into it.
Right.
And I just feel like right now they're both doing the same thing, and it kind of needs to be more Mandalorian developing the universe rather than just building it up. And I feel
Right.
like that's why it's kind of in this tenuous spot.
I mean,
Also, the
honestly, they
fact
should
that he
just
runs into
scrap the
every character ever in Star Wars, it's like, okay.
Right.
Well, and they
Yeah.
should, if they're not going to fix the sequels, in my opinion, scrap the future and go all the way back to the old Republic. Like there is
Well, they have
so
the
much
whole High
content
Republic right
there.
now with all the
The
books and comics.
legends.
So
Right.
The
Like
legends.
there's just so much
Please.
stuff you could do if you actually
I don't
gave a
want them to do that though.
crap about the actual universe. There's so much good content out there.
Yeah.
But
And
I-
our friend Fat Taco Brown just asked a very
Yeah.
interesting question on this topic. Do you think that Disney will try to world develop just to see how much they can milk out of the franchise?
oh, I'm sure that's why they're doing it right now.
And that's why they're doing it. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying it's concerning and I'm nervous, is because I know that's how Disney works when they
Mhm.
need to actually progress the universe versus
Yeah.
just build up in a stationary way.
Right.
Here's my problem though with prequels though, is because you can retcon things with prequels because they came before, right? So if they get a hold of prequels and they're changing stuff, then it kind of screws up
fair.
the entire universe altogether,
That's what I'm saying. Like they have to give a crap about the actual content,
which
order
they
to do
won't.
it
They'll
well.
never will. So
Yes.
What sucks is they've got the people in place to care, but the people who are in charge of those people don't care.
Right. I don't know.
I-
Jon Favreau said peak Anakin Skywalker mops the floor with peak Luke Skywalker, and I'm not sure I agree with
I
that.
don't agree with that.
I
I
Okay.
would like to see it play out. I would just
Yeah.
like to see it play out. I can't speak one way or the other.
If we're talking
without
about
upsetting
Legends,
people.
then no. Legends Luke
right,
wins.
and that's
right.
yeah. But I would like to see it play out.
It's all about
I
the
would love
money.
to see that. But I
Welcome
think
Gomi Bear to the chat.
I would say peak. So I would say that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the guys to have in the
Right.
spot.
100%.
They need to be there. I love Dave Filoni as a creative director with his work in Clone Wars, with his work in Bad Batch, and his work on Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2. Fantastic. The guy to be there, close ties to George Lucas, love him. However, the person who put him there, don't love him. He's there for the money.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this like, it's very like you go to the job site, like you go to a
Well,
construction
he
site
is
and all the
actually
workers.
Kathleen Kennedy. So
Well, you go to the job site on a construction site and you talk to all the workers and they're like, yeah, we're going to build this building in the best possible way. And then you've got corporate saying, nah, you have to do it this way because we need to save money on lumber. And that's exactly what's happening here with Disney is we've got the
Right.
guys on the ground who are willing to put in the work to build something gorgeous and beautiful. But the people are saying, nah, we can't afford that. And that's just BS. You know, they just
Right.
want to get the
They
money
could
out of it instead of
print
putting something
money
into it.
with a good
Yeah.
Star Wars story.
Exactly. So that's what's upsetting and a little nerve wracking right now with this the situation of Star Wars. I'm still super excited for what's to come in these shows, but I am treading lightly now just because I've realized the world building needs to stop and we need to develop the world
Right.
and growth come out of that instead of just oh yeah, all this is what the universe is about now and this is kind of what's happening in these time zones. It just needs to develop, please.
Right.
So
Yeah. They finally officially scrapped the Ryan Johnson trilogy at least.
that's good.
They made
Yeah.
that statement where they're like, yeah, we're not moving forward with that.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah,
that's Mandalorian.
it's getting better. I will admit.
Yeah.
I thought I also had. There's always a bigger. Remember in Phantom Menace,
Always
there's
a
always a
bigger
bigger fish. I was like,
Yeah.
there's
Yep.
always a bigger
Alligator.
fish.
That was funny when the
Yeah.
dragon went down, the alligator just
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Again, yeah, everything
Yep.
was about perfect timing in this. It's
you're like, oh, there it is again.
Yeah.
dumb movie logic.
Also, was it funny? Like their firing range, like now you understand why the alligator attacked them.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
they're just like shooting into
in
the water, like
water.
rockets and lasers. It's like no wonder this dude just attacked you guys,
Right.
and you guys are just wasting
Yeah.
all of your armaments into the river.
Leave me alone. yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Um.
funny.
All right. Well, for the sake of time, I don't think we're gonna watch the Mario Bros. Trailer, but I gotta say,
I did watch it.
it looks freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
It looks really
I'm
good.
excited. I'm so
Rainbow Road, guys. Rainbow Road. It's gonna be
Yeah.
dope. It's making me want to go back and play Mario Bros.
I was on the boat of being a little concerned with Chris Pratt Pratt voicing
His voice
Mario,
sounded much better in
and
this.
I
it
love
sounds
it. I
so
love it.
much better. I
His
think
laugh is so good.
I think they're kind of taking the Sonic,
Yep.
Let's go.
like when
Where they
Sonic came out,
revised it.
they're kind of taking the criticism very well, and they're
Mhm.
like, okay, we can't put this out. We gotta shift it if we want it to be where, and
Yeah.
that's encouraging to hear.
Yeah. Oh,
But
I
yeah.
love the Sonic
Taco
movies.
beer Mario. I don't know what you're trying to say there, but okay.
Oh man.
Um, I am kind of sad that they're making Luigi the victim here. You know, the princess, the what do you call it? The maiden
Damsel in Distress.
damsel in distress. Yeah, but whatever.
I did send you that video. There's a clip
Jack
running
Black,
around,
though, yeah.
Tyler, with you've seen Tropic Thunder, right, Tyler?
I have it, but I know enough about
Yeah,
it.
I think we've talked about this. in
Okay,
the
so
pod.
there's the like scene where what's his
Mario
Tom
Kart.
Cruise's character is like ripping the terrorists a new one over the phone because they like
Yeah.
call to ransom his actor, and he thinks it's like a rival company trying to steal the actor by paying him more money. But
Yeah.
instead of that scene, someone like mocapped Mario over top of him, and they're holding
And Matthew
Princess
McConaughey
Peach.
is Luigi.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
holding Princess Peach captive, and it's Bowser on the phone, and Tom Cruise is like, "I will literally sculpt you," like, but it's Mario. It's
And then they send Peach back.
right.
Oh man. So I'm excited for the movie.
Yeah.
I hope we all get to see it together.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the like some of these Nintendo game movies. Like they're
Yeah.
fun. Like they don't need to be crazy and
And you know what? It just takes you back to the old times of Sega
Right.
versus Nintendo. I
Well,
mean, now we've got Mario versus Sonic.
Right,
It's gonna be
right.
great.
exactly. Yeah.
I guess Taco Beer Mario is a game. I didn't know that, but
I did not know that either. It's probably a drinking game.
oh, I see it. Yeah, probably. I want to Mario Kart tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that one
Oh,
I
so-
know. That one you have
yeah,
to
so
like
Mario
drink if
Kart-
you lose or
So
something.
Mario Kart, you have a beer, or you have
Right.
2 beers actually. Every time you race, you have to finish your beer before you finish the race. Otherwise,
Right.
you lose.
Right.
And then every time you get hit with something, you have to drink out of your second beer. So it's like you got 2 beers, you got to finish the first one before the race, and then every time you get hit, you got to drink out of the second one. And if you don't finish the first one, you got to down both. So it's kind of like, yeah. You also can't drink and drive, so you have to stop and drink.
Yeah.
Ah, clever. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks good. I'm super
Mhm.
excited. We're hopefully gonna. I want to see John Wick 4 too next weekend because.
Oh yeah.
gonna
The
be dope.
actor died. He was a Destiny 2
Yes.
character.
Yeah. Actually, we should
Yeah,
talk about that.
But that's,
He's a
I'm
great
sorry, that was-
actor.
Mhm.
yeah, that's really
Lance,
something.
Lance Reddick.
Lance Reddick.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Rest in
So he
rest in
was.
peace.
Yeah,
Mhm.
rest in peace.
F's in the chat,
he
guys.
Yeah, he was the voice of Commander Zavala.
Yep.
The leader of the Vanguard in the city. So big part of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic voice actor. He's been in since the beginning. And something really awesome. I'm not a big fan of the Destiny community. We're kind of cringe, not gonna lie. But this is one moment that we all came together. There was like in-game like memorials for him.
Yeah, I
at
heard
the
about
tower
that.
at his character.
Yeah.
People were like emoting like salutes and like knees at his
Yeah.
character, and a super like coming around
Mhm.
him as an actor and his character and his work, which I think is super awesome for a community to get around, and everything that he gave to us as Destiny players is phenomenal, and he's going to be greatly missed,
Mhm.
not just in the game but also in his work and movies. He's just he was a phenomenal person as a dude, I believe, from everything I hear. He's a
And very
fantastic
young.
person to work with. Very young. What was he, 55,
50.
60
Yeah.
maybe?
I think it was
50,
50.
yeah.
I think
And
so.
natural causes, which is also really
Right.
rough.
Apparently, he
Um,
played Destiny the night before he died too.
Yeah, and that's like
Really?
like
Wow.
he loved Destiny
Mhm.
and everything that he did for it, but also as a game, and just as he was a great person to work with from his fellow actors, voice actors, off screen. He was a fantastic person. So just a big loss in the movie and game world in general. So
Yeah.
rest in peace, Lance Reddick. You will be missed.
Yep. Yeah, he's a good guy. A really good actor. I mean, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed him in everything he was in. So, But yeah, so super excited for John Wick 4 and Mario Bros. And of course, honestly, as much as I've been hating on D&D, I've actually heard that pre-screening reactions have been pretty good. So
I
Okay.
think
we'll see.
this might have been for a different movie, but I'm pretty sure it got like an 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't really care
From
about Rotten
pre-screening.
Tomatoes, but at least
I
but from
don't,
the
but
audience
at least
score,
it's something, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At least it's something to be encouraged by, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care about it.
Well, I like
Quantum
Chris
Mania got 100% though, so
Did
screw
it?
them. Something like
No
crazy like
shot.
that.
No shot.
Let me look it
No
up.
shot.
Let me look it up.
No shot.
I think it got like 79, 80
no shot.
from
That's too
from
high.
the reviewers.
From the critics.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
critics.
Let's look it up.
I think usually.
Oh shoot, sorry, my bad. I was way off. It was 47%.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
83%
shot.
audience score though. That's surprising.
That's right.
Eh.
Well, yeah, but I think that's just your
Guess those
Marvel
are the
and
normies.
DC fans.
Yeah.
So
Um,
anyway, yeah, that was encouraging to kind of see like, oh, people are enjoying this. It'll be
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe we'll get some entertainment value out of it. You know.
Right. So, yep. Okay. So let's get into the main discussion here. I'll try to get through these. So I have a bunch of questions here. Some of them are really quick answers. Some of them, are just going to be some little discussion. And then I do have some trivia questions here about comic books here. So I thought that'd be kind
well,
of
I'm
fun.
gonna fail that.
Right. Tyler, you can't leave. Okay.
I just got to pee real quick. I'll keep my
Okay.
headphones on, but I
right.
just got to pee.
Cool. So, all right, I'll let you answer this first, Zach, because this might take you some time. So, what was the first thing, whether it's movie, shows, book, whatever, that you got in nerdom?
Oh, that's tough. I guess off the top of my head, Batman the animated series, Spider-Man, X-Men, and Power Rangers.
It's kind of like
around
the
same
90s
time.
cartoons.
Yeah, the 90s cartoons. Into Gundam Wing in the early 2000s.
Ah, yes.
Loved that show,
Yeah.
but it was only ever on at like 11 o'clock at night. And it was on cable, so had to sleep over at grandma's and
Yeah.
be lucky enough to stay up late and watch it. And the Inheritance series, Aragon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Probably the books that really got me into fantasy. Or
Mhm.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, too. I guess, technically. Yeah, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe first, Inheritance second. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say. Oh, were you going to say something more?
No, that was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah. For me, it's definitely like those early cartoons. I think I was
Mhm.
influenced by what you were watching a lot, so I
Right.
really liked Batman the animated series. Of course, all the OG cartoons like Tom and Jerry, Scooby Doo,
Mhm.
and stuff. But I think really like for fantasy, it was Lord of the Rings, obviously,
Right.
and for sure Star Wars. I think was really big in when we were
Yeah, how
kids.
could I leave that out?
Yeah.
I used to watch those VHS tapes of the original trilogy
Yeah.
like once a week. So,
Right.
and then I tried to sell them for like $100 at our garage sale.
Yeah.
No
what
one
a
bought them.
stupid thing.
I'm glad they didn't sell too, because now we have them still.
Yeah.
My entry into nerdom definitely started. I was pretty sheltered as a kid.
Yeah.
But I remember being in my aunt's house. I specifically remember the time that I got into being more of a nerd and wanting to explore that version of myself. I was at my aunt's
Transitioning.
house. I was transitioning from a normal kid to an even more normal kid. I actually was at my aunt's house and they were watching episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and they were watching it because the third one had just come out in theaters or had just been announced. So they were like kind of catching up on what was happening in the prequels. And I remember sneaking in to that living room and seeing a super battle droid for the first time. And I was like, I need to watch this. And so that kind of like really, that was my first introduction to like actually wanting to be a nerd and exploring that universe. And that's why I love Star Wars so much, is because it's really the foundation of me becoming a nerd.
Yeah.
And so watching all those movies, starting with 4, 5, 6, and then watching 1 and 2, and then the third one came out, watching the third one, like I was so enthralled with Star Wars and everything. And then I found a copy at my school of Pokemon White, and
Wow.
I started playing Pokemon White, which is like the worst Pokemon of
That's
like that
probably why you found
generation.
it.
And yeah, so I remember playing that because my parents wouldn't buy it for me. So I like would play it in my DS under my covers, like not letting them know that I got Pokemon, right? And I
Yeah.
just remember loving that game so much. So that was like, okay, like there's some fantasy games out here that I would really like to explore. And that kind of like launched me into really enjoying games for not just like being a shooter like Halo. Like I grew up playing Halo since I was like 6. Like
Isn't
me
it
and my uncle
funny,
would
like
play.
what our parents cared about? They were okay with you playing Halo, killing aliens, but
Right,
raising Pokemon was not okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Or
Exactly.
Lord of the Rings versus Harry
So
Potter.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So, anyways, I got to experience Pokemon under the covers. And
Under
like
the
me and my
covers.
uncle would play Halo Legendary co-op campaign. I remember playing 1. I remember playing
You
2, and 2 you
experienced
could
Pokemon under the covers?
yeah, it's part of my transition.
What
And
were you guys
so
doing?
I remember Halo 2 was so cool because you could dual wield. Like, oh, I got dual plasma blasters. Like, this is
Yeah.
sick. And then Halo 3
Mhm.
ODST came out, and then Reach came out, and I was just so involved in video games after
Yeah.
finding that Pokemon copy on my DS.
Yeah.
And then I got my own console for the first time when I was like 7th grade, 8th grade,
Yeah.
and I was like, Destiny's my thing. And that's kind of when I got into more of the fantasy side of gaming
Yeah.
and what narrative and story could be built from there. And all this is happening while MCU is coming to light as well. Really fell in love with Captain America, First Avenger, and Iron Man. And it just kind of snowballed, but it all started with me seeing a super battle droid when
That's
I wasn't supposed
crazy.
to.
That's cool. Yeah, that kind of goes into another question I had later on here, but we'll just do that one. What was the first video game you played, and how did you get into video games? So that Tyler just answered that. So Zach,
Uh,
what?
Halo and with my uncles.
Yeah,
Lego Racer.
really? Oh yeah, we used to play
Used
that
to,
when we were kids. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
backyard baseball, Lego
hmm
racers. One and two.
Those, yeah.
Oh my gosh, those are
Blaster
great.
Ball.
Yeah,
Well, Lego Racer 2 was a great game,
that
and
was
I would
awesome. Well,
totally be down for like
I've tried to
an
find it.
Xbox version of that.
You can buy them, like you can buy discs, but you can't find it really anywhere. Maybe some
Got it.
illegal copies somewhere, but
Right. That would be so cool.
2 was awesome, but 1 was like nostalgic. Like
Yeah.
1 was pretty dope. Um
Well, and like I liked with two, I mean, once you beat 2 and you beat the Speed Racer guy, it was kind of
yeah,
unfair because his
right,
chassis was just so good.
right. Yeah.
But like beating the first guy, because even the pirate captain's chassis
Mhm.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
So like if you could just beat him,
Mhm.
then you would be okay and you could do pretty well. But I think it was what the jungle one was pretty hard.
The vampire one I thought was pretty hard too.
Yes, yeah, because doesn't she like destroy your car or something?
I can't remember
I don't
exactly.
remember what her power specific power was, but yeah,
Yeah.
that game was so much
The
fun.
the I like the pirate guy actually. That was a good map. That was
Yeah,
fun. So,
yeah, but that was probably the first video game, and then in college is when I got into shooters. So
did you ever play Age of Empires then or no?
I tried a couple times. It just
Yeah.
wasn't really the game for me. Like my floor was
Yeah.
big on Age of Empires. But it just I played a few times. It just never I love Risk and what's Risk on steroids? Why am I blanking? Axis and Allies.
Axis
Love
and
those
Allies, yeah.
games. But like doing it on the computer it never really captured my interest. I'm sure I would love it if I played it more, but everyone who was playing it on my floor was like super experienced. So I got my butt kicked and I just didn't really,
Yeah.
if you're losing by awesome amounts every time, you're not really developing much love for it.
Yeah. We have a first time chat from Monsieur Bonjour 24. What game are we talking about? So we're talking about what was the first game we ever played? So it was Halo for Tyler, and Zach was talking about Lego Racers back in the day.
I've got a fun little memory too with Halo.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why, but these moments just stick out to me growing up. my uncles got their Xbox, OG Xbox, went out to the garage, got Halo Combat Evolved, fired it up, and we're playing in the garage, right? And I'm like, I think I was like 5 at this time, and I was
Yeah.
like, Dad, where are my uncles? Like, where's Uncle Adam? Where's Uncle Bub? And he's like, oh, they're playing a video
Uncle
game
Bob.
in the garage. And I was like, what game? Like, can he's like, I don't know, that you might scare you a little bit. And I was like, I wanna go. So I again snuck into the garage, and I'm sitting in the corner, and I just like they had all the lights off. They had it on a big TV, you know, and they're like killing grunts and elites, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, this is awesome. And like I was not scared, but I just remember like sitting in that dark garage, like watching, like I thought it was the highest fidelity thing I've ever seen in my life. And then I go back and look at Combat Evolved like on the OG Xbox, and I'm like, this looks awful. But like I just remember being so enthralled by like watching Halo for the first time. And it was like, I want to play this forever.
Yeah.
So that was my first game experience.
Cool.
Nice.
So eventually I want to do an episode on favorite fandoms. So, but we'll just ask this question. So, Tyler, your favorite fandom is Star Wars, I'm guessing, right? Zach, would you also say it's Star Wars?
I would have to say Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah. Mine would be DC. Batman's my guy, so I love DC.
Yeah. I definitely get most passionate about Star Wars. So I feel like that means it is my favorite. I'm not a huge favorites person.
Yeah.
I like to enjoy a lot of different things, but I definitely get the most passionate about Star Wars. So
Whether you want it to or not, it's there.
Mhm.
Monsieur Bonjour says first game I bought was Lego Star Wars.
Hey, there you go.
It's a good game.
That's a good
The
one.
Lego,
The new
Lego
one's
games
great too.
Are just Lego
is.
games are awesome.
Yeah.
Liz and I played Lego Indiana Jones.
You could hit
which
each
was
other with
fun.
shovels. That was so much fun.
And then Lego
Harry Potter.
Jurassic World too.
Oh,
It was
okay.
pretty good.
Lego
The
Harry
Lego
Potter
versions
was a lot of
somehow
fun.
were just better.
I
Yeah.
They
know.
were just better.
Yeah.
Well, I think because it combines the game with Legos.
Something you
which,
already love.
again,
yeah.
we all love.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bionicles was
Bionicles
like
were
a nerd
awesome.
thing
Yeah.
too. Like I remember I
Yeah.
had the original 6.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember getting, I think I bought 2. Mom bought me 2. Mom bought me 2 for my birthday. And
I
then
remember.
saved
I
up
remember
all my
every single
summer
one of
money.
them too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I saved up my money from like summer stuff and got 2 during the summer. And then grandma got me the last 2 for Christmas.
Yeah. Yep. And then there were the ones with the spiky things on their backs too. The
Mhm.
villains for them.
Yeah. The little
I forget what they were
things.
called, but
Yeah.
yeah, those were cool. Those were dope.
Yeah.
What is the most nostalgic thing, nerdy thing from your childhood?
So like you're saying like the most nostalgic moment from my childhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like thingy, yeah. It could be a thing, could be a moment, whatever
Luke
it is.
Skywalker. I mean, like for me,
Lack of
like,
girlfriends.
I was 7, but yes.
Right.
Very nostalgic for you?
Watching Luke Skywalker on the screen at the end of Mando season 2 instantly teleported me back to when I was a kid. So I guess that's kind of it. I guess the other thing would potentially, like, it's not my childhood, but like seeing Iron Man, the original Iron Man in theaters, you know, is pretty nostalgic too.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Samuel L. Jackson coming on the screen and being like, "Let me talk to you about the Shield
The Avengers
and
Initiative.
me not even,
yeah.
or Avengers Initiative, and me not even knowing what that
it is,
was, but
yeah.
like everybody freaking out, and I was like, "Why is everyone freaking out?"
Yeah. The MCU is really what got me into like just exploring comics and all these like this whole brand new world. Yeah. Yeah.
So
what about you, Tyler?
Oh man, I don't.
Probably your story, right? That you were talking about.
The Duel of the Fates. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
how nostalgic is that? Like,
I think like when Star Wars is done right these days, and like what Zach said, with seeing Luke Skywalker taking you back, I think like you don't really realize the nostalgic moments until you feel nostalgic about them today.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is like I don't know, like it's tough because I've got so many moments in Star Wars that like take me back to experiencing them for the first time. Um, and like one of them was watching episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, for the first time and like fully understanding the weight of what happens to Anakin and Obi-Wan. And like I kind of got taken back to that with Obi-Wan the series and like how heavy that was and is. And I just feel like I know Zach, but
It's coming one of these
I
days.
know, I know. I'm sorry. I keep alluding to it, and this time it was not intentional. But I just
We
think
do a lot
like
of foreshadowing for the Star Wars reaction.
I just feel like there are so many different moments. Like going back to that first battle, Super Battle Droid. Whenever I watch it, it was the scene in the Coliseum and on Geonosis when they're chained up and they're fighting, and how epic that scene was to me as a kid, and like that I guess maybe is the most nostalgic because that is the foundation of me loving Star Wars. But there's just so many moments that like
Yeah.
it hits the chord, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll throw in a trivia question here before we do another one. What comic
Uh-oh.
did Green Lantern first appear in?
I don't know.
I'm wearing a Green Lantern shirt right now, actually.
Let me say the Darkest Night #1.
No.
Um, Justice League '88.
No. It was All American Comics.
Okay.
The more you
What
know.
year?
I don't know. It was like 30s,
Wow,
1930s.
it's that old? I didn't
We're talking about
realize
the
it's-
original GL here.
Right.
So, yeah. Monsieur Bonjour says he knew it. I doubt it.
Not
Yeah.
really. He said not really.
Yeah, not really.
I knew it.
I knew it. Okay, what if you had to remove one fandom that you love? What would it be?
So my
If you had
least
to get rid of
favorite-
one, and it's not something you dislike. It's something you actually like.
you're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna say DC
No.
because like
No, you're both gonna hate me. I'm gonna have to say Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
okay, Tyler, we need to.
I know.
No.
I know,
You-
but
you
again,
You're
removed
fired.
Lord of the Rings.
I-
You
well, hear me
removed
out.
The
I love it.
basis for everything else.
Yeah.
But hear me out. I love it, but I just am not. Disclaimer: I'm not as into it as everybody else. So like, it's the least lovable one for me. So it's just like,
Well, you didn't grow
I
up on
can't-
it as much as we did, so
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I get it.
Can I say Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
Narnia, I guess. Yeah,
That's not a major fandom.
it's a fandom still, though.
No, it's
okay,
too
then,
good.
then I picked
It's
that
too
one. I
good.
picked that one because
No,
I do
it's
love
too
it.
good.
But
I love
No.
I love the Aslan is
Yeah,
as
that's true.
the god figure is just too good.
the
So,
allegory is phenomenal.
exactly. So no, I'm gonna stick with DC as much as it hurts because I'd be losing Batman, but
You guys are gonna hate me for this one, but I'm gonna say Star Wars. Just
I
because
mean,
of
I'm not
how
surprised.
screwed it
I'm not
up it is at
surprised.
this point. It's tainted
Yeah.
it so much for me.
Yeah.
Really, it's so much more tainted than the MCU.
Well, see, I read Marvel comics though, right? I read and so like there's less for me to hate about Marvel. Well, okay, I don't know. Maybe I thought about Marvel too. One of the two, I guess. One of the two.
It's
would
hard for me to
understand-
get rid of Marvel because of the Infinity War saga, Stone Saga, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good. It just carries the trash that it is right now. So
I have a feeling that Monsieur Bonjour is just Barrett creating another account. He says, "Is there a Star Wars character you would like to kill off earlier? You would have
Right.
killed
Yes.
off." Yeah, I mean that's pretty obvious.
Yes,
Easy
but
answer.
if we're gonna like ignore those, I'd actually kill off Jar Jar sooner.
Oh yeah,
I
but
mean,
you
yeah,
know
I
you
don't
got to
like
have
his
a character
character.
everybody likes to hate though too. You know.
Right.
Well, sure, but you like hate it and then rejoice when he dies in Attack of the Clones and doesn't become a senator. So
Yeah.
I would have killed.
that's fair.
I would have killed Padme a lot earlier just because.
Oh, come on. You're talking about my childhood crush here now, Nathan.
Okay.
Yo, Natalie Portman. God,
Natalie
dog.
Portman is
Natalie Portman.
smoking.
Are you gay?
But
Smoking.
Are you gay or are you straight?
I love Natalie Portman. Don't
The
even
Geonosis-
don't even at me right now.
The Geonosis scene for Natalie Portman alone makes that
Oh, yeah.
whole movie.
She is
worth
so
it.
annoying though in the prequels.
Well, yeah, it was funny. I think I sent you the one video. It was like a comedy sketch of Padme, so she's wearing the black dress that Padme's wearing at the fire
Oh,
pit.
I saw that. Yeah.
And she's like, "We can't be together, Anakin." And he's like, "Ah!"
Oh man.
Like it would never work. It's against the Jedi code, and she's just like
Yeah.
taking off her shawl.
Yeah.
Which is true because
It is.
No, I would probably kill Jar Jar sooner.
yeah, I mean he's
yeah.
he's the easy character to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's not
I
pivotal
just
to the story, but he's
I
still a
think
main
he
character.
existed for too long.
I still think the Darth Jar Jar theory would have
It's
been
pretty awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would prefer that over
alternate
the
timeline.
sequels. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
What is the most disappointing game you've played that you were hyped for prior to the release?
Let me open up my Steam library.
Probably and like okay, so I'm delayed on games just because of the nature of my life.
Yeah.
So generally I do get to dodge the really bad games.
Yeah.
But the one I was most disappointed it was bad was Battlefield 2042. Because I love Battlefield 4 so much, and that's a game that me and my friends go back to so much to play. If Battlefield 2042 had been good, we would have played that consistently. But they got it because it was next gen. It was you could play it on the old gen, but it was much better next gen. And so they got the next gen consoles and played it, and it was awful. So then I just never even bought it because there's no reason to play a crap game. So for me, I've never really been super disappointed in a game, but if there was a game that I was disappointed it wasn't good that I didn't play, it'd be that one.
Yeah.
I can second that, but mine is actually going to be Battlefront 2. I don't know if you guys remember the drama with Battlefront 2.
The loot boxes.
Yeah, loot boxes kind of revolutionized loot boxes for the gaming industry because the loot boxes gave you star cards, which ultimately made you stronger, and it was very much a pay-to-win model, and it just kind of ruined the integrity of the game, which is a gorgeous game, and they fixed it since, so like it's kind of redeeming in the end. But I was super hyped for that game, and then it just kind of went down. But I would agree with 2042. I was really hyped for that game. And so hyped that I didn't get to play it after I heard the bad news.
Yeah.
Well, and Battlefield 2 at least gave us at one point the most downvoted post in all time of Reddit was EA going on Reddit and trying to justify the loot boxes and saying, what's the famous line? They were like, strive to a sense of pride and accomplishment. That's what it was. It had something to do with players striving for a sense of pride and accomplishment, and it's a copy pasta to this day. So,
all right, another trivia question: who always says it's clobbering time in the comics?
The Thing.
The Thing. That is correct.
The Rock.
The Rock.
All right. Melee or ranged weapons, and if melee, what kind of weapon would you go with? Why are you crying, Monsieur Bonjour?
I'm gonna go with ranged. Personally, I just typically go for sniper rifles, bows. It's generally my cup of tea.
Okay.
Oh, that's a tough. Can I cheat and say Ranger?
Okay, if we're cheating, then I pick Rogue.
Well,
Because
that's
assassin
melee.
blades with bows.
Yeah. That's
Rogues
cool.
don't always have bows though.
Sometimes
Typically they
in
have a
Diablo
ranged-
they have crossbows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so I guess if I'm cheating, Ranger, right? Like the Ranger's Apprentice book series, another good book series that is apparently like 30 or 40 books long at this point, and I think I've read the first 4. They were good.
There are a lot of those books, yeah.
Yeah. But like that just to me would always be my style probably. Like mostly ranged, but a little bit of melee.
I'm melee all the way, only because Elden Ring really just shaped. Elden Ring and Witcher 3 really shaped me as a gamer. So I'm a melee.
Yeah,
guy.
whereas like Tyler and I, shooters more shaped us.
Right,
So
right.
that's why we
tend more towards
There's
range.
just something about picking up a Halo sniper rifle and cross mapping your your uncles. I don't know. It's different.
Your uncles. Yeah. Okay, and co-op versus co-op or PvP?
Co-op.
PvP.
Of course you are. Of course you are. You're a Destiny boy.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I
well,
like. Yeah, I've always
I-
liked co-op and playing with friends. Like,
Yeah.
so co-op, that playing with friends leads more towards co-op, unless you're playing shooters, obviously. So
yeah, I'm very much so see my gamer, like the true gamer part of me when I'm not like a nerd gamer, like in the story, I want to be the best possible version of myself in the game, and the only way I can do that is by competing with the other players in the game.
fair.
Um,
Fair.
so like, if I play an MMO, I'm not really in it for PvP. I'm just kind of in it to like build my character, do cool things, run the dungeons, the raids, whatever. But I do like tend to stay on those for a little bit, and then I go back to Rocket League, which is pure PvP,
Yeah.
and just kind of like the skill level and skill ceiling of that and floor is just unmatched in my opinion. So I just love PvP games because I love beating real life players instead of a computer, personally.
I don't like playing video games by myself.
Oh,
I am
really?
not a solo gamer.
No.
There's been multiple times where Liz is like, why don't you, hop on to your Xbox? It's been months since you played with your friends. And I get on, and like she always tells me like at 6 o'clock at night. And so they've already got plans and are busy. So I'll like hop on at 8 and no one's on. And I like turn off the Xbox after 30 minutes because I'm like, and I'm bored.
That's so
Like
sad.
I like playing even solo games. Like when I was playing Assassin's Creed, Steven and I would get in an Xbox call and both play Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
but would be talking while we're playing it.
Yeah.
So that's just how I am. So yeah, I'm always
Yeah, I love gaming with friends, and I just find the easier way for me to do that is beating them in PvP
Yeah.
or teaming up and being a unit. Like that's I
Mhm.
guess co-op too, but
Yeah.
like not in the same way. You're competing against
Right.
other players. But I'm the same way. I'll hop on and I'm like I rarely play Rocket League by myself,
Mhm.
or like any other like actual competitive shooter or something. Like I just can't do solo queuing. Those aren't as fun.
Right.
So it's definitely like I need my friends to be with me,
Mhm.
for those. So I like the actual co-op, but like competing in player versus player.
Yeah.
Mishore says, I want more good story modes and co-op. So he likes co-op.
Yeah.
Okay. What's more important, story or gameplay?
Gameplay.
I think gameplay. Yeah.
I would agree. I mean, we see it with Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Yeah.
But like even if you have a good story, if the gameplay does not
Yeah.
add to it, it's not the
You're just
story
watching
goes
movie
down.
the
Like,
game.
right. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of an easy one. I think most people would say gameplay,
Yeah.
because you can't have a good story without good gameplay.
Yeah.
Trivia question. Who was the very first superhero?
Oh. I as soon as you say the answer, I'm gonna know who it is.
Captain
It's
Underpants?
No.
Was it Captain America?
Can you
God.
is it Marvel
That's
or
for
DC?
sure.
Yeah, give us a
I
hint.
believe it's
Marvel or DC?
DC.
You
Oh,
believe it's DC?
Or no, actually, I don't think it's either.
either. No, I thought so.
It's neither.
I thought I was going to be neither.
Huh. I guess I don't know then. Who?
It
I
is
don't know.
the Phantom,
Huh.
which I believe.
From?
I thought it was DC, but I believe it's its own thing.
Got
But-
it.
All right. What game are you really bad at? And this could be a quick one, so we can get through some more of these. If you guys don't want to flesh it out or anything.
I don't really play games I'm bad at.
I try to not be bad at games. So even if I start off bad,
Get good, scrub.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think the easiest one would probably be chess. I
Yeah.
love chess, but I'm not great at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably easy answer for me too.
Okay. What was your favorite cartoon growing up / character?
Batman the Animated Series.
There you go. Easy.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. All right. Both good ones. What was your favorite Batman movie or actor? Batman actor?
I mean, Christian Bale and Dark
Batman
Knight
Begins.
Rises. Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises. I'm sorry.
Heath
I was
Ledger. I
thinking.
mean, if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't,
easy.
the combo there is just too good.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
Batman Begins is right after it though.
Batman '89 wins for both. I think
George
Okay.
Clooney?
Michael Keaton.
No, Michael Keaton.
Yeah, what am I thinking?
Actually, so '89 is the best Batman movie. But if we're talking about, actually, no, you know what? I take that all back. Batman: Mask of Phantasm is the best Batman movie. So Kevin Conroy is the best Batman actor, of course.
Okay.
Okay.
But we're talking live action. I'd say Michael Keaton. In your opinion, is there a difference between a geek and a nerd? And what is the difference?
I would say yes. But let me give my reasoning before. Do you agree, Zach? I don't want to sway your opinion.
I'm trying to remember the actual clinical or dictionary definition for geek versus nerd. Isn't nerd is like movies and comics and stuff, and geeks is more computer gaming?
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
I would
so
say
geek
yes, I agree there's a difference.
Yeah, so nerd is kind of nerd has kind of changed. You know, it was like, oh, the smart kid in the class, but I would actually consider them more geeks because they're more interested in the hardware and the foundation on which nerdom happens.
Yeah.
So at the base level, you could be a geek about something. Like I'm a geek about computers, technology, but I'm a nerd for Star Wars and for Harry Potter. Like the nerdums, those are what, if you're interested in those, you're a nerd. You might like those and not be interested in the hardware at all. So you're not technically a geek.
Right.
But
It's like content.
I would consider I would consider myself both. I love the medium at which my nerdum is acted out. So I love seeing behind the scenes of movies. I love architecture like Unreal Engine 5 that we talked about, computer hardware. So I'm a geek in
VFX.
that sort, and the VFX. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I'm both, and I do think there's a difference.
Yeah.
I would say for me, I draw the line at like nerds can like something and be really interested in something, and geeks is where you like take it to that whole next level and it becomes like an obsession. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
I guess I would say.
For sure. Yep. Trivia question. What's the name of Mr. Freeze's wife? If you're a big BTAS
Veronica?
fan. Come on, Zach. You're the BTAS fan here.
It's been forever.
That's
It
the best
starts with-
episode
It
of
starts with a
BTAS
V,
too.
doesn't it?
It does not. Victor Freeze is the main guy.
Yeah, I
so-
guess that's what I'm thinking. V.
I think it's Victor, yeah.
What is her name? It is Victor Freeze. What is her? I can't remember.
Petunia.
It
As
is
soon as you say it,
Nora Freeze.
Nora. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Isn't Veronica Kingpin's love interest?
Yes, I think it
Yes,
is.
Veronica.
Yeah. Favorite book or book series?
Harry Potter, no question.
Really?
Yeah, that's easy for you.
I like Percy Jackson a lot.
Percy Jackson is really good.
The Bible. Jesus.
What's a book series I go back to a lot? I don't know. That's hard for me because again, I don't go back to stuff once I've read it. So honestly,
Narnia?
the only thing I've read multiple times is Narnia or the Inheritance series. So I'd have to say one of those.
Yeah.
The Inheritance series is so good. I was so disappointed when they absolutely tanked that movie.
I don't really
So
even
bad.
know what that is.
It's the dragons.
Aragon. Oh, okay.
Aragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an awful movie.
Movie
Oh my
was
gosh.
awful.
And it didn't get past the first one. So.
Right. And I think there's rumors that they're doing a TV series. Potentially.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hopefully it's good. I
Um
don't know, I think that one might be good if they would do animated. Like there's certain book series that I think would be really good if they were animated. I think that's
Yeah.
one that would be really good animated. I think like the He Who Fights with Monsters series would be really good animated. Dungeon Crawler Carl would be really good animated, and
yeah.
Dresden Files would be really good animated. Because some of the stuff is just like when you get into fantasy, if you can't
Right.
spend the money to like make it look good, you
Yeah.
should just do it animated.
what was it? Warcraft?
I didn't even watch it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good face of what the orcs looked like right there. Okay, favorite medium for entertainment.
Right now it's book on tapes, but
In
probably
general.
video games.
For me, it's comic books.
Might be pretty boring and vanilla, but honestly, I love seeing stuff on the big screen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
No, that's
I
good.
love playing through stories, but there's like even Destiny, like I've kind of fallen out from playing Destiny, but I
Yeah.
love watching lore videos on what's happening in the universe while I'm not playing the game. And I think that just kind of goes with I like watching, I feel more immersed watching something
Right.
and hearing about it than actually playing through it because I'm more worried about the mechanics and the gameplay when I'm going through the story personally.
Yeah. I like comic books because you have both the visual and the book part of it as well, you know? So you can imagine still, but it's like you still have an idea and it looks dope. The artwork looks
Graphic
amazing.
novels.
Graphic
Yeah.
novels, that's right. Trivia question. In the DC universe, who has a higher IQ than Batman? Who is the one person that has a higher IQ than Batman?
Wait, Batman's
Superman.
at the second highest IQ in the DC universe?
Yep.
Superman.
No. Brainiac. Brainiac doesn't even have a higher IQ than Batman?
Nope.
I don't know any DC
Good
trivia.
guy or bad guy?
Bad guy, big bad guy.
Darkseid?
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. All right, and that kind of leads into this question: Marvel or DC, and why? Which one's better?
Well,
And I will stay
better,
part in this one because
I'm not answering better.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
not answering better,
better.
but I enjoy Marvel Cinematic Universe just because that's the medium that at which I like.
Yeah,
And I will
Fair
say, ending with the Infinity Saga.
yeah, right.
But I would just say like medium wise for me to ingest it for me is the cinematic universe of Marvel.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Favorite movie and least favorite movie. You good there, Zach?
Yeah. I just
Inhaled
sucked air down the
my-
wrong throat.
Man, this is really tough because I knew this answer up until about 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I would say Magnificent Seven. It's a Western.
That's your
not the
favorite
original,
movie?
the new one with Chris Pratt.
Wow.
And that's what I would
It's a
say.
good one.
But it's really good. However, I will have to say, I think No Way Home kind of takes the crown for me.
It's your favorite movie of all time?
Probably.
Wow.
It's just
You
a
s-
culmination
you
of
stop asking
everything
me
that I
favorites
love.
questions.
Return of the King is my favorite movie of all time.
I might have to
That's
go with
fair.
Return of the King.
That's fair.
It's a fantastic movie.
It's so
I mean-
good. It's hard to beat it.
And just the culmination of No Way Home just really hit all the nostalgia
Yeah.
points, hit all of the big screen immersion points.
Yeah.
I just, but Magnificent Seven, like raw entertainment value, probably takes like I guess maybe the top for me, and that's why I would consider it my favorite. But it's
Yeah.
a tough one. Like I don't know right now. You know, so those are my top two.
Worst movie, I gotta say, probably Avatar: The Last Airbender, or something like that.
Yeah, worst is always hard because there's so
There
many
are so many
bad
bad movies. Yeah.
Well, I'm
It's-
trying to think of a movie I've walked out of. I know I've walked out of one or two movies in my entire life, but I can't even remember what they were, so it'd be one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Return to the King's just like,
Fantastic.
again, it's a classic. It's
Yeah.
hard to top that.
Can't beat it.
I
So.
can't think of a awful movie
Yeah.
that I've like actually seen because I avoid them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough for me. I don't really have one.
All right. Last trivia question. What color kryptonite is not harmful to Superman?
Yellow.
Purple?
White.
Well,
White
yeah,
kryptonite.
that
It's
would've
crystal
been a
meth.
good guess.
It makes them stronger.
So why you gotta ask all the DC questions?
Yeah.
when
There were
you're
some
the
Marvel
only
ones in
DC
there.
Guy here.
There were some Marvel ones in there.
There
Here's
was
here's
some-
an easy one I didn't give you. Who did Jim Carrey play in Batman Forever?
The Riddler.
The Riddler. There you go. All right. Got a couple more questions here. Who is your favorite superhero and why is it Batman?
I mean, it is Batman, so that one's easy for
Spider-Man.
me.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
It's either one of the two. And actually that's an episode I want to have eventually is kind of doing a deep dive on Batman versus Spider-Man, who's the ultimate hero, cuz It goes they're neck and neck.
They are neck and neck.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's actually insanely powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I love Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's awesome, but yeah,
Yeah,
come on.
And I don't
Batman's
think I would have
Batman.
said that before Tom Holland's Spider-Man either.
Eh,
Personally,
I liked
I just
Toby
like
and Andrew well enough.
Oh, I did, but I don't think I would consider them them acting out Spider-Man is not what made me love Spider-Man.
Right.
I think it was Tom Holland being Spider-Man that was like, oh, like this guy's dope. I
Yeah.
love Spider-Man. So yeah.
Here's a question you might not necessarily be able to answer, but I thought it'd be an interesting one. Star Wars versus Star Trek, which was more influential on fandom? Not necessarily which do you like better,
That's
but what do you think is
that's,
more influential?
I mean, I feel like you've got to say Star Wars now, but
I disagree.
grow up.
I would actually disagree with that as the biggest Star Wars fan here. I think I would say Star Trek revolutionized like galactic fantasies. Because everything derives, not everything, a ton of stuff derives from what Star Trek did first. With like planetary world building and whatnot. So I would have to say also like the Star Trek, the best way I'd compare Star Wars and Star Trek is the more realistic version of Star Wars. They try to stay true to like real world physics
Science,
and just like stretch it, versus like Star Wars is its own rules and regulations. So I feel like Star Trek revolutionized the universal like fantasy of star traveling and space and all that kind of stuff. So I would say probably more influential as a whole over on fantasy.
I agree.
But these days, I think Star Wars just
more mainstream right now, but
mainstream and won it out. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think
I would say
there's probably
wise Star Trek.
a bigger, a truer fandom. I think is in Star Trek. I think there's a lot of normies in Star Wars.
The only Star Trek content I've ever actually experienced is the movies with Chris Pine. So like, because
I've seen some of the OG stuff.
Dad didn't like Star Trek, right? So like, I was never introduced to Star Trek at all. So
I think the biggest nerds out there are Star Trekkers or Trekkers or Doctor Who fans.
Well, because you're freaking learning Klingon.
Right. Yeah. Or Lord of the Rings too. There's always that.
Yes.
All right, and then last two questions. What is the best thing to ever happen to nerdom, and how long do you think nerdom will last?
I mean, best thing that I can think of is Avengers Assemble on the big screen. Like, come on. 22 movie lead up to that.
I guess this is going to be more. This is going to be more of a geek answer, but I think the revolution of effects and graphics and like none of this is possible without the visual effects that developed in the 70s and 80s. Like you're not going to have the Infinity Saga if none of that happens. So I think revolutionary wise from a geek standpoint is the graphical upgrades and I'm trying to think of the acronym.
GIFs?
No, not GIFs. What everybody says like when they're like,
VFX?
Oh, this was no, it's not VFX.
Meta?
No, I
no,
can't.
he's talking about an
easiest thing in the
effect.
world. It's the easiest word in the world. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not
CGI?
graphics, but
CGI?
It's CGI. Yeah,
Okay.
the revolutionary is CGI. Like without CGI, none of our nerdoms come to life on screen.
Fair. Yeah.
And so I think that really revolutionized from taking it off of a comic book and putting it onto the screen and like the movement and the CGI of the creatures and characters that revolutionized nerdoms. And I think it's here to stay. Thankfully.
Yeah. I think it is like sometimes when I get super depressed about where our world's heading, I think art will always find a way back into the world.
Entertainment for sure.
So no matter what, I think you'll always we are created in the image of the ultimate creator. So I think that humanity will always strive to create art in some form. So,
and I think it's very important too for society.
I think it is extremely important.
Yeah. Which is why we're doing this whole show, is because the culture war is very important, and we can and should be involved in that, especially as Christians and as conservatives in this realm. we need to have a voice because it's all the SJWs right now. They're taking over, and so
Yeah.
which is why I think the best thing that ever happened to Nerdum was the MCU. But at the same time, it
It's
is
the
why
worst
I
thing.
think Nerdum's kind of dying because
Yeah.
every good thing has an end, and I think it really broadened, it mainstreamed Nerdum, but that made it a bad thing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like I know we talk about normies, but like I think that having a mass amount of normies is kind of a good thing, in a way. Like that's how you know that what you're doing with your nerdum is working.
Mhm.
And I think like it's as annoying as it is to be like, oh, you love Star Wars, and it's like, what do you love about Star Wars? Like, oh, I think Rey is the smartest, coolest Jedi, and you're like, okay, get out of my face. But like,
Yeah.
at least Star Wars got to a point where it's like it's cool to like Star Wars, and it's fun, and like we love the universe even at like a surface level.
Yeah.
And that means they're like, I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing to have more normies than to not have. Like, I wouldn't want to be in a part of a nerdum like the Trekkers, where it's like only the hardcore people can be here. Like that
Mhm.
just gets so gatekeeperish.
Destiny.
Um, no, you're right. But I just feel like I think like the mass amount of normies, because then you have the conversion rate of people who are just normies to are like, okay, I want to deep dive into this because I love it, and then they become actual nerds for what you love, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Cool.
So that was our episode. Did you guys like that? I thought that was kind of fun to
Yeah,
go through
that
some
was fun.
things. We can do some
Yeah.
more of
I
those
wish
later
I
down the
wish
road.
Nick was here because
Yeah.
then you could get to know all of us nerds.
Right. Yeah. So there's lots of clips we can use here. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. So check us out on Twitch if you haven't again. We're gonna be playing Immortal probably a little bit. I need to take a little bit of a break here, but go check out our link tree. It has all our socials on them. So go follow us there. We're posting there. Also, we have a Discord. So please join and talk to us throughout the week. And we'll also answer some of your questions here on the episodes. So send those in. We just want to talk, just talk with you guys. So that'd be fun.
We are the talking nerds.
We are the talking nerds. That is our purpose. So you can catch us here on twitch.tv/talkingnerds and on YouTube here at Talking Nerds Podcast every Thursday around 8 p.m. Central Time, and throughout the week on Twitch as we will be streaming games. We won't be having an episode next week. I'll be in Vegas, but we are going to C2E2 next Saturday. Tyler and I are. So we will be live streaming probably on Instagram, and I don't know if you can do Instagram and Facebook at the same time, but
we could also do Twitch too.
we can
so
do
that'd be
Twitch, yeah.
fun.
So
we'll have it set up.
Yep. So we'll be streaming there. So look forward to that. And we'll be playing Diablo Immortal, Diablo 4, and New World. Make sure to send us your questions again. Review on Apple Podcast. It helps us out. And thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for all the chats tonight. And we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Recording stopped.